Xiao in the distance. He's going to be straight out B main here. Hold on to that. FPX don't want to give anything else away.
Left.
Running down, waiting for Sociable to show his hand. I don't even think, really, he's got enough time to charge down a kill here. With how much time's left. That discipline, that pedigree from FPX shining through and around like this, where just don't even entertain it. Don't even entertain the possibility. And think bigger picture now. What was it? 3,500 plus. I think they were stacked coming back into this, even with a full purchase. So the end goal always in sight for FPX, and that brings it to 3 rounds. 1 Vandal saved. The lockdown invested, and I have to take a quick look. Progress out. Well, yeah. So Hunter's Fury online. I saw one other actually, but. I like the idea with the set piece here, but with nobody exploring A main early, it means Zipan can sit outside the lockdown on top of that wall. So it's that. Again, I love the intention, but it's just one extra piece needed to the puzzle to make that work.
Yeah, and the tactical timeout, I want to see what this really kind of equates to. They brought it in before that piece coming out didn't really sell me on it. And already, we do have a couple of kills coming in, though. So there's only 1 player holding back all of FF. It is Shadow, though, who emerges from one. Finding Lares, looking for the follow-up, investing utility to just try and buy time. Try and slow down this inevitable hit that seems to be coming their way. And it has done just that. Brought it back to a 3v2, and it's far more manageable now.
Brasco, Vandal in hand now. I think I was going to say... Yeah, Fam looking as if he wants to reset for the res net. And now, with knowledge on 3 players at least, Demasik going to try and beat Lurzy to short.
He's done it.
Swap of the weapon here. Brasco going to go for the plant.
That's actually
the stun
great for
is
Demasik.
perfect.
Yeah, it's so well set into place. Brasco, we saw a great shot before. He's going to need more of that too. Bullets is all he had. And Zipan had an entire rifle ready to go. So again, for FPX, this I've got to highlight how much of a great recovery this is from kind of 0 to hero, 8 to 10 on the trot. We haven't seen an answer back from FF. This team was perfect on that first half, infallible almost. I looked at them as some of the best there was at doing that. It thoroughly surprised me. And then FPX flipped the switch. Suddenly, we have the FPX we were expecting to see. This is a team who's great at maintaining control, making sure they have everything, T's crossed and all of that, same old phrases. They are great at that, every aspect considered. I don't know what's happened to FF. They've just gone quiet now.
Really have. See here is obviously, other than the judge, but the showstopper online makes me believe it's going to be the intention here. Sushni finds 1 Zipan in response. Look at this. Elsewhere, they do get themselves onto A side. Brasco will find Zipan as well, and FireFlux with a decent opportunity here to set up. Hunter's Fury available.
First time.
And the showstopper still. As well as the res.
First time they've had a man advantage, a safe spike plant. This is the first round that's looked good. Xiao, Shadow, and Angel, the 3 to try and work it out. You can see Angel trying to check the timing towards middle, see if anyone's trying to build behind, but they're not. There's 2 towards site, 2 towards main, and the crossfire is good. Now here comes the utility. Look at the absolute wave of it just crashing towards the site. A 1-for-1 trade out, but Lurzy's still there. He's gotten 2 with this one, and it's just down to Xiao. In the 1v3, the timing is dwindling, and I don't think there's anything Xiao can do, and he knows it. Time to back away. FF finally find their way back on this half. First round put on the board in some time.
4 will fall though, and that's the concern with the way these rounds have gone, with FireFlux being reset twice already in this half. Again, I'm sure they will be able to muster together a purchase. Actually a lot better than take a look at the utility as well. Yeah, looking pretty good on that front, so actually getting away with that one scot-free, to be honest. The first response back here. FPX, yep, take that one on the chin. Still a bankroll to fall back on.
Ultimate popped. Laras to find Zipan.
Off the rip.
Almost right off the rip. Yeah, that's a huge pick to be making. Angel, does he commit to the TP? It looks like he's going to stick himself around. Demasic with the mad play out. Tries to find some facts, find something. He really didn't find too much. A little bit of info garnered, but touching not necessarily straws, but whatever they're given. Demasic's timing. I thought he had it. He thought he had a second to breathe. He doesn't. Sushni is right there. Finds Demasic, and now it's go time. FF gonna lean off the back of this. There's a player at the back of Jen, doesn't matter. Luzzi's impact. This guy is so sharp. Angel, the timing could not have been better for Sushni as well. Comes around the corner, crests it just perfectly. And Xiao is left just saying, this is done for. I'll back away. I can't do much about this one. There it is. Laris clears it up. FF coming alive. They found the pacing. They found the timing. It took them time. It took it took 8 rounds basically building. I'd say what it was 5 really for them to test out the waters, really see what that next step was, and they finally got it right. And look what they've got for it.
Rounds in a row, and seemingly a solution to their problems. And we'll see if they continue to pressure this A site hold as they continue to find success towards this A site hold from FPX. And again, on the flip side of that, we'll have to see how FPX adjust. Time around, nothing really, I guess, in terms of the playmakers. Sushni actually won away from the lockdown, so it could make a play for the orb in the early round. Xiao does have that Hunter's Fury, so I don't want to see that be the defining point, you know, the sole reliance of an execution if it's so easily countered.
And now match point looms. That's it's such a small margin, that small bit of adjustment. Maybe those tactical timeouts finally paying off. They finally found that rhythm, that little bit of a thread, maybe that tell that gave them that gateway in. Now it looks like not necessarily an aggressive, but a proactive response. I'm looking at where FPX are currently sitting. I want to see what they do with this. This is where problems could begin. Already Sushni gonna try and explore that idea, and it looks like they're gonna go for a little bit more of a, I guess, early impression towards this side. Make them have to work to try and retake this space, but Zipan looked like he was playing towards wine for a second, but they've dismantled that.
Yeah, and Sushni will be pulled away, but look where they found space, Lauren. Sociable. Pretty deep towards market, and actually Demasic holding all the way back in spawn here. I mean, you can't progress any further. Owl drones are all cross. Not sure how much was spotted on the other side of that, but I did hear a tag. We'll get that lockdown online.
There it is. Quickly denied. There's the trade out. There's the trade out. And Xiao back of the site now. Has to dig his heels in because he's just lost his comrade beside him, but he actually does find Lutzi.
No
That's
way.
great from Xiao. Another! Xiao bails him out with 3, just with the backs into the wall. And Sociable, your last one alive here. Oh my word, Sociable, you animal! He's made it into a 1v2. He's got 27 seconds. It ain't much. The spike is stuck on that B side. He has to go towards it. And there's no subtlety to this now. They've heard those steps. He can't bide his time. Tries to clear that very common corner. Skips in towards the side. One close, one backside, 10 seconds. He can't do it. Xiao holds his nerve and gives FPX one more go of things.
Beautiful hold from Xiao. And totally composed. You can see he didn't even break a sweat on the player camp. And shuts that down again. I love the response though from FireFlux. They're like, yeah, we know exactly what you're going to do, right? You either have to respect the lockdown or you invest the Hunter's Fury. If you invest the Hunter's Fury, we're coming in. They're not even waiting for the lockdown to tick through. It's literally throw the lockdown, rush site. So it's almost to counter that very response from FPX, but Xiao holds strong. Zipan again, this time will slip into wine unnoted by the Owl drone. And he's rewarded. Demasic dips in. The first flash finds the kill. Zipan with the swing on the back of it. And there we go. A 5v3 presented for FPX.
these small adjustments that play towards one. We saw them considering it in that previous round. This is the first time we've actually got to really see it come into effect, and it's definitely worth its value, but it ain't over yet. That res has brought this back to a 5v4. Ball goes up, Zipan buying the time, keeping control, funneling FF elsewhere. If they want to continue this way, they have to break it, and actually that's a huge pick. Demasic's gone down. Now those problems starting to mount. They have to invest towards this. 50 seconds though. Do they commit? They see another. Zipan now noted, Zipan now tested, but he passes, finds one. Angel's got his back, gets down a second. It's a 3v2. Brasco is low HP, and Angel holds his ground, keeping FPX in this one, as Brasco, the brilliance from before, can't surely come through again. Two players so close. 30 HP with only 19 seconds till he can get that heal up. He can't do much about this.
Indeed, 30 HP. Gotta respect it. I think, yeah, gonna try and hold on to weapon here. Shao not able to close the distance either. You can find this kill, so Brasco holding on to something into the next for FireFlux. Now FPX in total control. They actually have recon tag. They're going to spam him out. They do. Oh. Nearly find the spam through the box, but Brasco escapes with his life. Have to see here on the back of Zipan and Angel. Just such a beautiful. That first kill was fantastic.
Yep. Truly, and again, knife's edge sort of rounds now. FPX's adjustments have done really well, but it's still quite a close affair. And I'm finding it hard to not just give a lot of credit to FPX here, because the adjustment has been great. You know, the run back they brought here, the 2 on the trot in answer for FF, but the buy this round, Hypoc, it's going to be poor. They have, what, they could, what do they do with this buy? Maybe this is the reason for the timeout, and I don't blame them.
Searching for answers now. Has this all but fallen around? Look at that timeline. And on the brink of closing it to just one round. See what the final decision here from FireFlux is. Like it's going to be 3 sheriffs. Brasco obviously with that Vandal. Laurus as well. Those are the only one with the ultimate online, but really a game changer, even if invested here. Blinded. Again, FPX happy to fight for this A main control, and after they found it so many times, seemingly unpunished, Japan once again tucked into wine. It's so problematic to try and dig a player out from that.
Yep. I mean, on a buy like this too, you're still going to be clutching at like pieces of utility, right? It's super expensive, and the weaponry is obviously not ideal. And Mersey is committed to this. Tagged up a little though. One towards CT could have swung, but didn't decide to take it. 2 players dedicated towards the back of Boathouse. Brasco can't see him either. Can't somehow pry them away from this. Seeing just enough to give him the information. Laurus, wait, he's found Demasic and Angel. Where have you just found those? And there's now 2 players at the back of the Boathouse. They're a bit baffled by this, but look at that. Sociable just flies in towards CT. Shao and Zipan holding the line for now. FPX depending on them, because that could have just gone completely sideways. Shadow plays into it though. Lurzy's got him, but he doesn't expect a second. And now suddenly Brasco all alone, put down. It's 11-12.
What a recovery. What an insane round as well. First off, to find the 2 entries, Laurus goes huge. I think actually it's a little bit of a mystery there, or at least a slip up. Shadow obviously noted in terms of the fault line coming through, and then Shao showing presence when he finds that first kill, and still goes unchecked after Lurzy finds the first. Valiant attempt nonetheless from FireFlux, and 1 round now separates them. Who'd have thought? Coming into this, Brasco down on the Guardian. Hunter's Fury, Showstopper, 1 away. How FireFlux handle this.
It looks like a pacey piece, but it's not gone well. Angel's already found Sociable. And FPX seem all too aware of what they're trying to do here, and they're just managing this for now, maintaining.
Cover going out.
That look towards B's not really paid off much here, but Demasik gets caught. Lurzy's caught Demasik, but where's that next step going to come from? Ori Lara's going to try and clear towards the back of the site, but this time the adjustment's made. One towards stairs, one towards the boxes. And Xiao ducks his head down, allows Shadow to take contact. Xiao and Shadow in combination looking so sharp, so deadly. It's 12-12. This one ain't over.
Switching sides. Overtime.
Of course it isn't. And here we go. The full reset. Economy balanced. Now let's see. The rounds, obviously the side switch as well on top of that. FPX going to be attacking here. See if there's any variation to the way in or the pace at which FireFlux were happy to play in regulation at least. I'm looking towards Sociable. He doesn't have the operator here, but looks like a double swing towards short at least. Zipan got to be careful if he's going to hold on to that spike as well. Stun set up though from Shallow. Look at this.
Yeah, I do still think though it's hard to pick yourself up after having a hard half and be the aggressor like they were, but Sociable still does it. The guy finds that magic no matter what. And now he's going to be left on his own, just fine, posted up on short. He has the support coming in from Tree, if needed. And maybe he doesn't need it. Sprays it, he knows it so well. He read Demasik again and again. It's so easy for him. And that time he gets caught. Shadow!
Excuse me?
Come off it. You land stuff like that and then you lose out. Wild.
That is...
Enemy tag.
That's blooper material right there. For Sociable to find the first, and then for two players to fall to that. Shadow's one off the Rolling Thunder now. See here, and FPX happy to now slow this round down.
Oh, yeah.
40 seconds remain. Looks like B is the plan. Two members of FireFlux, though. Look at them. They've dug their heels in. All the way in backside, and they can do this because of the investment of the Killjoy utility on A. You can play deep, and actually this runs the clock down.
Yeah, it does, because they have to clear sight like there's players up close. FPX don't know everything. They're trying to just clear this out. You can see him go, and now here we go. Already Brasco's found Shadow, and now look at the time. 10 seconds left. Brasco's got another set up, teed up, knocks him down with Laura's. An FF recover after what was a true fumble there on short, and make the round their own.
Switching sides.
Thank God.
Match
Honestly. Again, with that opener, to see two players fall in that manner. Well, I hate to have seen FireFlux drop this first overtime round, but presence of mind, and they stick to the plan. That setup paying off for them massively. And I'll be honest, even Brasco and Loris taking the initiative to peek ahead of, ahead of the rhythm in terms of what was going to happen in those last 15 seconds. Again, the desperation plant comes through. One kill basically wins that round at that point. They find all three. FireFlux now. Again, a quick mid piece. Angel again to try and hold this down.
Shadows.
Percy smoking out towards CT. Brasco working forward. A Chow at the back of the site though. And it's Angel to find Sociable this time. And again, this seems like this back and forth, this unrelenting trade out between these two. My, the UI's having a day. Angel stuck towards CT. Shadow wants to try and support this. He's feeling that pressure mounting towards that side, but it is Lurzy up there, and he's not going to be removed just yet. Angel, perfect combination. Try and drag the attention. Laris does get a trade, but it is going to be dwindling forces here. You can see them just sandwiched into this tight little space, two of them on the other side. FPX just need to sit back and hold these complementary angles, which is exactly what they're doing. Xiao to find Laris, leaving just Lurzy alive. A 1v4 gets Demasik. Needs more. Needs a spike. 35 seconds to do so. It ain't easy. A little bit of utility in 10.
30 seconds left.
No one presenting an opportunity. Everyone's playing extremely patient. Gets a spike. And the time he bought then does cause the Sage to fall away. Now he's got a 1v2 on the site. Smoke goes down and he gives himself at least the cross out. 13 seconds. The time's going to go from him. He's got 10 seconds. Does hit the fake. He needs the pick. Now Xiao says no. And we go again.
Will do here.
Switching
Switch up
sides.
once again. FPX back
Overtime.
on the attack now. We'll see what the plan is. Again, with the way FireFlux started out on their defensive half in the first one, we'll see if that is the intention once again. FPX stacked up outside Link once again. Shadow set up with the fault line. Well, this time, a little bit of an adjustment here. FireFlux going to fight towards A main here. Paranoia sent in. Early control
Cover going out.
in favor of FF.
Shadow does at least find sociable to start with. Now, that's a problem. We haven't seen FPX, at least. I'd say it's a problem for FF. We haven't seen them really getting those, not necessarily free entries, but clean entries. Now that's two huge opportunities presented. They've got picks towards A. This has to be the gateway here, or at least to show that intention of, right? To imply, to drag their attention this way, to cause those rotations. They could depend a little bit on the Killjoy utility that is dedicated towards B. Maybe lean the additional player here, but Lurzy wants the information, and it looks like Angel's lost that patience.
See, that's the Angel will punish him for just that. Now all but a formality. FPX entry towards site. Zipan finds Sushni. Just down to Loris. 1v5. Shadow down to 54 HP. Angel tagged up, but a tall order would be the understatement of the century.
Flawless.
And a flawless round from FPX here. They now strike back
Switching sides. Match point.
and look to convert their defensive round here in overtime.
Ooh, another timeout. Not afraid to call these, FF. They've been actually leaning on these quite heavily.
We'll see here is again, I've loved seeing what FireFlux did, but I haven't seen that same tenacity on their attack. And particularly here where, you know, you got to say, it gets to this stage of any game, any map, whether it be map 1 or map 3, the decider, and you're rattled, right? If things just aren't working for you and a team finds that perfect response or that perfect way to kind of counteract what you're trying to do, if you deter away or start switching things up, that's when problems can arise. And so, well,
Back-to-back timeouts?
everybody calling in attack timeouts.
I've got to make dinner at some point, IPOC. I'm starving.
I haven't looked at the time. I actually put a post-it note over the corner of my monitor.
Nah, that's smart. It's 9:30 in
Thank you.
at least Europe.
Oh,
No.
I'll
welcome.
take the post-it note off then, I guess.
Yeah, might as well. We're gonna have like triple OTs, 3 mappers.
Yeah,
There hasn't been a technical yet. I should have said that.
Where's
I've
Zilv?
said
Where's
that.
Zilv? I need Zilv
True.
strung up right now.
Yeah, he's the one who said it. He's like, oh, don't see that happening
I'm gonna
again.
check it. I'm gonna check his Twitter feed.
Any
He's been-
nonsense coming out.
Huh. Just
Nothing?
yet. Which means we're due one. We're due a stupid tweet from Zilv at least.
Speaking of tweets, love a little hot take from the one and only Sean Gares. Love a bit of it. And he says, because he's a big FPX fan, always has been. And I'd like to quote, "I just want this FPX copium out of my body. They keep stringing me along." And that is truly the FPX fan experience, I feel.
Yes. Yes, it
It
is.
truly is. You're like, it's finally happening. All these theoretical pieces have come together in this like perfect blend of it. And you're like, nope,
Nope.
there they go.
Nope. Sorry. Turkey.
Whoops, turkey. 14-13 though, it is looking like FPX at least hold the cards for now. Now, again, we wait and see. This could go on, is all I'm saying.
Again. Same piece. Same mid piece. Angel on the other side of it. Utility invested. They lose the wall. They gain nothing. Except for creating some space on shore. Now, Demasek called upon. The paranoia going to keep him in position for the time being. Sociable slips the net. Can he find Angel? Angel actually finds him.
Angel in the first half wouldn't have won that fight, but he does now. He's come alive, he's found the form that he needs, and maybe FPX have found just enough to start closing this one out. Maybe. At this point, there's still players up against them. Laras, Sushni, and Brasco make it just two of them. Laras and Brasco in a 2v4. And FPX hold the line, they hold all the cards, and look at this, FF are just stuck.
Nowhere to go.
Player standing.
Angel will find another. Brasco falls. Shadow
Defenders
stomps out the last hopes. Laris falls. And FPX 15-13. When all is said and done, we'll get the map 1 victory. But wow, what a start.
That looks more like relief, Hypot.
Yeah.
That doesn't just look like, you know, when you saw sort of the teams winning, they were, you know, pumped up, sort of, you know, Na'Vi claiming their victory, they're all there. That looked like,
Thank God that's
didn't throw
over.
it, boys. Got it. Brought that comeback because it was a comeback. It was like, what, like a 10-2 lead at one point or something crazy and turned around. It was impressive, but I mean, bloody hell, that got scary. And again, though, that's the best that FF have. Right, that's the best map they have. I'd say Split is up there too, but FPX are also good on that, so maybe a little harder to define. But your closing thoughts on this one? What stood out to you in that game?
I mean, leaving that first map, I'm left with more questions than answers, to be honest with you. Again, what an amazing start by FireFlux, but again, it's always worrying when something looks so good in the first half and then it's just total contrast. And we're talking black and white there. I'm worried now that really whether it's complacency or lack of depth, right? Which, if you compare that to FPX, you got to say they've got it in absolute heaps.
I'm with you. This does certainly pose a question. There will be, I think, Bind next, and then Split last if required. But before we get there, we are going to be heading back to the desk. So guys, do stick around. They'll break down what we just saw and lead you into that next map after what was a very, very strange game.
Burger? Pie? Try it and decide.
I remember waking up with that sort of movie moment where somebody says to you, hey, you've been in a car accident. I had no idea where I was. I didn't really understand the fact that I was seriously injured. Something like wearing your seatbelt stopped me from going through the windscreen. I feel as if I'm very lucky. Got through it and, yeah, still here today.
Robert Dubois. He's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU.
I'm not joining your suicide squad.
We'll see.
It's okay, I'm not okay.
Let's meet your team.
I need to feel the raindrops on my head. I'm a superhero! I do not know.
Are you in or out?
See the new trailer online.
I got the moves, I got the groove, I got the ooh. I got the ooh. I got the ooh. I got the moves, I got the groove, I got the ooh. Better take them to school.
check out that big bang.
Yeah, I know, I've been telling them, you're spoiled, that's just how it is. An overtime game, ooh, you couldn't have asked for a better way to kick this one off. For FireFlux, it's kind of heartbreaking. That was their map pick, it was looking good for them out of the gate, but what a comeback from FPX. Zesh, I want to start with you, man. What happened? It was looking so good, nothing could possibly go wrong, you were thinking, and then it all went wrong.
We're talking about a 10-2 half, Harry, right? 10-2 is basically you need 3 rounds. Great maths, right? Awesome. Really good.
Really proud of you.
This is why I'm graduating.
No, this is why you're here, Zesh.
Nevertheless, this is the thing, right? The individual skill we've seen throughout the first half, also from Sociably, is insane. The man has been absolutely popping off, but he's not the only factor. It's not only relying on one individual. The overall synergy we saw with them as defense was amazing. The kind of capability they've shown us, how they can work together like a puzzle, one piece after another falling down. It was brilliant. It was excellent how they were retaking sides. It was a charm, but then you have to at one point swap sides.
Yeah, you know, we all know how that went, right? The moment the sides swap around, FPX, they come alive. Lothar, man, give me some reasons. How did Angel and his friends just do that?
Honestly,
We're looking for answers, man. They are hard to find.
I would love to have an interview right now with Angel, because that's one of the most, let's say, challenging things that you can ever do in a game. When you go from a 10-2 side, right? It's almost impossible. It's like in a scene in a movie where people are watching something in a cinema and they're like going already out because they think it's already the end of the movie. But no, it's you know, it's still going, and now FPX is waking from the slumber and they suddenly go nuts. By the way, in the entire game, both teams had exactly the same amount of first bloods, 14 each. So there was even fooling, even though it didn't look exactly like that way in the game.
At the same time, the important thing is, which I would see as a difference, is that FPX had an entire team effort that was pretty much balanced. You didn't see right there in the graphic, for example, that there's not too much of a change or there's not too much of a big difference in how they have actually performed on the basics of numbers. Obviously, there's a way deeper picture here, but at the same time, this is something that obviously matters. And Sociably was popping off in the first half together with Lars. Those were individually insane players, but a thing that I think really got to them is the mental game, because you are certainly in a 10-2 scenario and it's getting worse. It's getting worse. You're falling down, and at one point you might just get a little bit shaky because you don't want to throw this away, do you?
Yeah, and you know, even more so when you get like those 2 rounds needed to break the 6-round streak of FPX, and you're thinking like, oh, all the pressure's gone, you know, we're 1 round away now, we're right there. Then the OTs come out, and this is where, you know, when you look at the experience, when you look at guys like Angel, this is a guy in his element, right? When he's making these big comebacks happen, and he's getting in your head a little bit.
Well, I wanted to bring out a little bit of perspective as well. When I spoke with Dumbros from FPX, he was telling me that they're anti-stratting, like a lot, you know, against the teams. Even when you don't really have much data, they try to learn how the opponent plays. And the big thing about FireFlux on Ascent is that they don't play Jet. Right, on this map, they have the raise, which is like a compensation for that Jet dash that's very much needed for almost all of the executes. But what it does for FPX, it brings them a lot of confidence in their defenses because they know what they don't have to expect. And that is the pressure coming from the Jet dashing through almost every single piece of utility that they are trying to slow down their opponents with. And that is a big thing. And also because on attack, which we could have witnessed right now from FireFlux, they do tend to go towards A side so often, right? And FPX was ready for that, especially when it comes to the garden holds. They were like trying to set up those small little crossfires and re-peaks when they knew where exactly the hit is going to happen.
Well, so, you know, you kind of look at it like that when we talk about FF's map pick. Now we go to where FPX are looking to end up, right? It's a bit of a classic for these guys. It's that second map of Bind coming out for the FPX squad. And this really is like one of the go-tos for FPX, right? You take FF out of their comfort zone, out of their pick, and the question now is suddenly, you know, can they stack up? Do they have what it takes to beat FPX on a map that they're going to be more than comfortable on? Zesht, I'm already seeing you do faces. You're not looking terribly convinced. What's up?
My issue is that there is a lot of changing going on when it comes to Bind over and FireFlux. I mean, when I talked to Sachin, I had the honor to ask him, what is it with you and changing our agents very often? And he said, yeah, we can do that because we try it out from time to time and we can adapt to the opponent. I see that point, but let's be honest, consistency is key. Consistency is basically key, and this is something where you can swap around from time to time. This is gonna be, I think, the end for FireFlux, to be honest. Don't want to say it yet, but I don't have high hopes regarding Bind, to be honest.
Well, I understand your perspective. At the same time, FPX is coming in from, you know, a month absence from the competitive scene, right? And we still didn't see anything very much new from them, so we don't really know what's gonna happen in Bind. At the same time, when I'm watching FireFlux and the VODs, how they play Bind, there's really a lot of pressure on Sociable to be able to open sites on attack. You know, and what is even the stark difference between FPX and FireFlux on attack on this map is that FireFlux is even less active. Less. How do I say that? They're just slower than FPX on the executes. Typically, they don't really plant very fast, or is that evenly paced along every single round. And they do tend to gravitate towards the normal 4-1 splits, which is very easy to read by veterans of the scene like FPX.
Yeah, and you know, even this idea that like we're having to home in on someone like Sociable as like the can opener almost, right? Like the guy who's got to get in and, you know, crack in that first line of defense. And then, you know, kind of contrasting that to a point you made when we started this whole thing, Lothar, was you said on FPX, it's like anyone can kind of fill that void, right? Anyone on this team can step up. And I do think that, you know, guys like Xiao, even Angel having that like recovery back on the last map, I don't know, I think it kind of speaks for itself, right? There is a lot of talent here, and we're kind of hinging on an individual for FF. So a lot of pressure being applied to guys like Sociable here.
It's very true, and this is a bit of an issue that I'm seeing here, because you never want to have that one player pressure in that sense on anyone. Surely there are can openers, as you said. That's always the case. That's totally normal. At the same time, I think this is where you might just getting used to pressure, and you're still playing against FPX. You just mentioned it. Reading into that, Angel's going to read you like a book, and you know he's probably seen a lullaby at one point if it's getting too obvious. So this is where I start to get worried to a certain degree. But there's the thing: if Social B pops off, then it's done and dusted, because this man is an absolute beast, and everybody can perform on that lineup. Actually,
I really hate like judging teams by just one player, right?
Absolutely.
It's like it's more than that, right? But sometimes one player can make a huge difference.
Sure.
Like, and we have seen that. Well, CNET, right, comes to mind, of course. It's Turkish as well, so it kind of fits here to this conversation, right? But Sociable is one of those upcoming players coming from this region. And I just wanted to point out that this is a very new team that was formed in the Turkish region, is now being, from at least from what I have seen from the Turkish community, they're being trying to judge the team as one of the best teams in the region, or the upcoming is even bigger than Supermassive Blaze. And they're being owned by one of the streamers from the Turkish region, Anlos, who is one of the biggest streamers there as well. So there's a huge community behind them. There's a little bit of pressure because of that, right? And they're very young. So yeah, it's actually a very, let's say, nice team to behold how they progress in the scene, right?
Yeah. No, it's always sick whenever you have these situations where like a whole region, a whole country is really getting behind their team, and it certainly brings pressure with it that can either make or break you, right? And I guess that's what we're going to have to see here as we get ready to head in to this second map. Never worry, we'll be back with that in just a moment, so don't you go anywhere, because there's more Valorant still to come.
I got the moves, I got the groove, I got the ooh. I got the ooh. I got the ooh. I got the moves, I got the groove, I got the ooh. Better take them to school.
Robert Dubois. He's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU.
I'm not joining your suicide squad.
We'll see.
It's okay, I'm not okay.
Let's meet your team.
I need to feel the raindrops on my head. On my head.
I'm a superhero!
I do not know.
Are you in or out?
See the new trailer online.
Cage trigger, careful now. Seconds left. Spike down B. Spike planted. Last player standing.
Told you we'd be back. Right, so we're ready to head to this second map, right? It's going to be Bind, as mentioned, the map pick of FPX. Once more, I've got Lothar and Zesht with me. Y'all should really know that by now. You got to be keeping up with this. So Lothar, you got a little bit of time here. There's a lot we can talk about when it comes to the potential agent pools that we're going to have here. What are you most excited about, / what do you think we're going to see?
Man, I'm going to repeat myself, but dang it. So, Sociable typically was playing Jet on Bind, but Jet is not really that impactful like on other maps, right? Because there's less space for her to make those jumps and dashes to create pressure, because typically it would mean, oh, I'm dashing towards lamps or I'm dashing from hookah towards the tube.
Right.
But in the last match that we have seen from FireFlux, he actually swapped to Raze, which is something that we need, but the other 4 members of the team are picking their call.
Right, well look, we're going to have the agent select right here. And, oh yeah, I saw a KO getting hovered for a moment.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if FPX picks a KO. I would really love to see that, because...
Not at this point.
Yeah, the thing is also on FireFlux side, we're probably not going to see a Viper, which is
really
a
weird.
big problem. I would say even PT, because they lack the Viper spit, and it's so impactful on this map. And in general, Viper is just insanely valuable on Bind, insanely valuable on many maps, and because of that, I mean, this might be an actual pick. I hope so. But
no,
rolling.
Please.
Are they watching Forza VODs, or
I mean,
what the hell's
I don't
happening?
care about Yoru, but
This is
the KO, please.
Hey, hold on a second.
I mean, y'all know I care about the
I mean, it fits because KO just felt so similar to... Yeah!
Woo! We got the KO!
Quiet.
Let's go, Angel.
No,
Yay.
no,
All
no,
right,
no,
so quickly, let's wrap up, okay? So KO on Bind is a absolute force if you play him very aggressively. And by aggressively, I don't mean you have to go first in the first 3 seconds. What I mean is that if you use the utility aggressively, that means you don't use lineups with the dagger, you don't do overhead like lob shots, you do quick-handed daggers behind the wall so it cannot be destroyed, and you push with that.
The interesting part is, this is the first time we're seeing Xiao and Omen as well. That's going to be once more extremely interesting to see how this kind of composition is going to flourish. If it's going to be the liquid effect where they crumble, or if it's actually so well thought through, which I imagine very much specifically with good old Doombros behind it, that this is going to be exactly that damn exciting.
Well, when I spoke with Doombros about KO, he was leaning towards that.
He was trolling me as well.
More aggressive KO. So
yeah.
I'm really happy to see that, because it might be the first time we actually see a proper KO in the VCT.
Oh, Angel has not disappointed us here, right? Because like when we're talking about FPX and we're talking about FF, you know, we're saying FF's kind of strength that they think is that they have this big, very malleable agent pool, right? And everyone does kind of play a bit of everything. But the first team to be bringing out a KO live in the server is FPX, and I can't wait to see what Angel's got up his sleeve. You know, like I always think about his Viper when I think of him here, man. I think about that being like a real tried and tested method. So I think if you're bringing KO in, you've got to have something planned, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we saw that you have to bring something planned, and Liquid didn't do that properly. This time around, I very much imagine it's probably one of the best strategic teams in the world, so therefore, there must be something coming at us.
Oh, you don't want to miss this, right? Pansy, Hypoc, they're standing by. Take it away.
KO? Really? We're bringing out KO, are we? Okay, things have just kind of gone out of the window. I don't know what to expect from this now. Hypoc, give me some logic here. Talk to me about this. Tell me what to expect, because KO got dabbled with, it felt like, at the start of, you know, when he came into play and he was allowed to be played, but then it kind of faded away and it was not played as much. Now we have Angel cracking it out? What on earth is going on?
I mean, if there's one person I want to see, you know, make it work, it would be Angel, right? It would be the one to kind of, I guess, set the standard where, you know, we've seen other teams fall short. I mean, Zeth's a little harsher than I maybe would have been, but, you know, with other teams that have maybe toyed with the possibility of making this work, actually, Angel's one of the brains that we always look towards. And again, you could say the same around, you know, I kind of align that with things like Boaster picking up Astra, right? There are some few players that characteristically you think, actually, if they pick something up and they make it work in their own unique style, actually there aren't many other players that could do it or do it the same way. So I'm all for this. Let's see it.
Yeah, show me what you got here. Looks like an aggressive start taking over Shower's control. Larius has to respect it and fall away. Also, at least get the information, but FP in that sky to just kind of at least clear close. Demonsic takes the cross, but actually doesn't get out from it. Sociable, a great first start here, and we have to wait to see the follow-up. What's the rest of this going to look like now? Ooh, weird plant. Okay, Spike is down though. And Shadow, he's been given a bit of an interesting gateway. Angel's been outdone, and actually FireFlux with a great response so far. Shao needs a bailout, and he gets it. 2 big frags, but that spike plant, he can't get near it yet. Has to respect the nade coming through, and Sociable doing what he needs to. The guy is good at this. He is so damn strong. Now, I think the desk argued a little for over-reliance potentially. You know, sometimes if you're going to be that player who has to deliver frags, if you have just a slower start on a half, or you simply just get locked out of it, it is hard to then turn that around. But this was a great round for him.
It really was. And unfortunately, Xiao has to sit here, has to deal with that. The paint shell, a good measure. Some comfortable time to set up here, but you hear Sheriff's thrown in the mix here. Xiao with a shadow. Try saying that one quickly. Spectres across the board elsewhere for FireFlux. Shadow will get the orb here. So decent progress already, actually. Regardless of what happens with this round, it's either one away or online. An Angel towards B long. Fault lined across. Actually hits that first headshot and the second. Gonna bait a little bit of presence here. Postured up towards Fountain. Now gonna drift in towards Hooker after receiving that heal. FireFlux gonna hold on to this 2-2 right now.
Still a little bit of threat here. Brasco has to fall away from that. Can't do anything about it now. Angel. Probably going to find a little bit of information for Sushni, but other than that, it's going to be tricky. There's the flash in. Didn't actually catch anyone with it apart from his teammate, so at this point, there's still a little bit of room for FF to try and play back in a touch here, and actually, yeah, it's allowed Brasco a little bit of window to quell this hit. 35 seconds now, and of course the rotations are there, but so is the TP. And now suddenly, who is that Sober? It's Laurez. The timing's great. Oh, couldn't quite get that second. Labored on the spray, but he did at least get one. It's the 3v3 now. Spike's en route, gonna go down, and look at the purchase between these two.
Cheers. Angel gonna get some early information. On the back of that, Brasco drifts out of heaven. Zipan unnoted just yet, and he will actually punish that.
Last player standing.
To just Lurzy and Sushni, and Lurzy, last man standing. FPX have answered back in this round. Say odds stacked against Lurzy here. The smoke will go down. Try and just tap this out, but won't even go for the half yet. Try and just make it costly, but FPX will recover. 3 weapons, albeit Spectres. I don't know if Angel managed to find one or not. He's going to hold on to the Sheriff, it seems. But what a response. And again, we're coming back to the things that we were talking about. We're seemingly lacking in the first half of Ascent, right? That kind of methodical approach from FPX, where everything's considered, right? It's the discipline, it's the structure, it's the, you know, clearing every angle. There's never kind of somebody that's in a one and done spot versus FPX where they're finding 3 kills, right? Or at least getting away with it consistently. So this already, for me, for FPX to answer back like this in round 2. Righting their wrongs at least in the first half from Ascent.
But I still want to see that flare from FireFlux. I feel like they've got it in them. You saw what it looked like when it all came together on map 1, right? On Ascent, when they found that space, I mean, infallible in approach, but then obviously the second half fell away from them. But man, if they could find a bit of that spark again, these guys could be so deadly to play against. But this round may not be the case. They went for the stack at the start, didn't work out. Angel with the high flash doesn't get what he wants from that, does he?
No. A little bit of an adjustment period still, maybe. Up to KO, but Seekers will be invested. 2 players for FireFlux playing very deep on B. No garden control, no hooker control. You see now, they will be revealed.
Demasig not going to hold back in this.
Nope.
Yep, straight in. Powerful play from FPX. Clears the site. Spike now going to go down, and you're right. It is quite methodical, though. None of this is rushed. None of it's easy to read. They're still showing presence early towards A. They're still dismantling that stack that FF were looking for, but the retake through from CT not going to be easy, but that's a good first step to do some damage. Demasig down. Sociable. Always dangerous, but that centimeter away. Not going to find Shadow just yet, who's going to get the other flash in a couple of seconds. Could pop that down CT if he just wants to be a nuisance and buy time. Careful. On the way back out the wall, still keeping him safe, allowing that focus to stay. Neither of the players able to make much damage of it. Laris did find 1, but the round, it's done for.
Last player standing.
Indeed. Lurzy trying to stay late, find some damage. Loris, the same intentions, but FPX are 2-1 up. Fantastic round again, well handled. Like you said, it was almost coasting onto site there. It was just a checklist almost to run through. They are rewarded for it. FireFlux now back on a purchase. See if there's any adjustment on their part here. Res available. Tao got TP up and running. Demasig and Angel still around halfway progress to their ultimates. Sociable actually opens things up here. Shadow good for the trade. And with that res, heavily favors FPX, but you can see here, FireFlux not afraid to stack bodies.
You will not kill my ally.
Trying to prevent the res from coming through, and they actually will. They'll punish it. What is that? Loris and Lurzy go huge.
That's the spark. That's the fire I want to see from these boys. I think they got it in them. A little bit more like that, and you've got a game on your hands here. FPX being reminded of that first half that just completely was ripped away from them in map 1. But it's still Shao. It's still Angel. Little bits of utility, but what do they have to play with in this? Look how swarmed that spike is. Players everywhere. Brasco over towards being in the TP itself. Xiao trying to clear back through. Keep in mind the amount of utility. They have a fair bit to work with. And they're utilizing it now already. Angel gonna get found by Brasco, and it's Xiao left in a 1v4. And that positioning towards Xiao was just perfect. Xiao knows that his days are numbered. He just wants to try and maybe do something. Make an impression out of this. And FF are having none of it.
Shell holding tight for the time being. Two players tagged up, but I don't expect FireFlux to give them away free. Important in these early rounds to keep as many bodies alive, as many weapons into the next. Shao just spots the shoulder. Nearly catches Lauris with the bow in hand, but nonetheless, it's third on the round, and FireFlux respond with a beautiful round. So well played. And at that point, again, the distance to close to actually punish that res, it's such a risk.
You will not kill my
Look at this. And you're right. The risk is there. I mean, I guess you always back yourself in those fights when you've got that sort of aim, but my, was it risky, but the reward so high.
Oh, yeah.
And a stack. 4 players towards B here. Early TP play. Looks like at least 1, 2 made it through, drawing the attention from FPX, who have to respect it. They have to look towards it. They can't ignore it. And again, all of this for Shower's control, building around the back, and it's certainly truly in FF's favor, but this will funnel FPX through short now.
If anything does materialize there, they have the bodies in place anyway.
Yeah.
FPX forced to reconsider. Sociable going to be first point of contact here for FireFlux. It's Deemsick on the other side.
This is 5v2 on B. Lots of utility there, sure, but already Sociable noted. Sushni at the back of the site now needs to do a lot of work here. Gonna spot 1, that's a good one. That's a pickup. He'll take that every day of the week. He does have Lurzi there with him. Wall goes down so he can spot the cross. Flash goes deep. Gets a fair fight towards Zip. Amber loses out. Sushni's still alive. I don't know how. What? I thought he had another. I thought there could have been another, but no. But Laura is the timing ahead of this. Turns the flash, eats it all the way. What? Just tap it away. Blind. Completely blind. Still gets 3.
Are you kidding me? Look. This guy is actually insane. Loris again coming up huge with a 3-piece, reminiscent of that round on Ascent. The taps are so crisp, so clean. The fault line and the paranoia just leaving Angel on a plate, but look at that second one. And then the third.
He didn't even turn that Sky Flash completely. Like, he came back on it. Wow. Wow. That's so sick. And FPX are trying to fight for the shower control, but they're just not getting any of it. Man, FF, when these guys look good, they look untouchable sometimes. It's just like, God, if they could just string that together, they are such a scary team.
You hear what the response is. Time around, FireFlux going to give up. Look, seemingly for free. There is a trap wire in there. Angel will get the information on Suchny at least. On the owl drone for good measure. I think, yeah, no, we'll spot both. And the third piece of utility noted here, but Deemsick actually going to punish Sociable through the TP. Creates an opener for FPX.
This is, again, look at the buy that FPX have. This shouldn't be as dangerous as it is, but suddenly it's starting to mount up. You can see Shushni a little bit more cautious now. Ult sent down, but Sushi's still alive. He's found a little bit of peace and quiet in all the mayhem. He's going to strike now. Good timing on that, but there's a trade out for Zipan. It's still dangerous, and maybe a little overconfident from Laurez there. Punishment from Xiao. Lurzi leans in, doesn't matter. FPX are punishing every one of these confident peaks.
Brasco now. From elbow. Find anything else. It's going to make it difficult as I say that. Shadow, the Rolling Thunder's going to get invested here. He's got a fighting chance of this. Shao going to back up towards Garden. Unnoted. He will find it.
Shao just, it was so nasty with that. You could see it from our perspective how paranoid he was of that right side, that someone's maybe in octagon playing on long, you know, sitting on the post plant. No one was there, but instantly Shao then fills that just as the smoke goes up, as soon as he was trying to make his play through. But my 3-3, this is a close affair between these two. Look at the way these rounds have gone as well. It's not been a clean run at all.
It hasn't at all. Gonna now get ultimate progress on both sides. Angel, Shadow, and Shout. Sociable, Sushni, and Loris. See, we're going to see a fast piece here from FPX.
All right,
find
gun
anything
game.
on the way
Guns
here.
out.
Zipan actually going to shut one down. And Angel double dips as well.
Look, welcome to Angel's world. This is what he's after.
Spike planted.
The ult works out well. They get everything they wanted. Falls away to the post plant, and now the retake is tough. And you're going to see Sociable, Brasco, Lurzi, all looking for something. But FPX can just sit and rock that clock. They don't need to make too many moves. Keep them back. They've got the utility, and you can see that Lurzi's looking for an opportunity, looking for that next step. Sociable's even trying to make the moves in towards Lamps, but Zipan finds Lurzi, and you're going to be looking at just two. And neither of them being given many chances.
FPX going to force them out. Maybe try and hunt here, at least Zipan making ways through B site here, but yeah, just going to sit and spawn. Hold on to these weapons. Try and get something going in the next. Again, Showstopper online. Potential there for Sociable to get something on the done on the back of that, excuse me. I think elsewhere, the economy still too pretty. And I was considering, obviously, there was a Spectre and a Judge in the previous, but looking like well, Lurzi going to force down to 850 at least. Oh, another Judge in. And Sheriff's elsewhere.
I mean, Link on a Judge did pretty well. Yeah. Oh, I love this piece. Look at that. I could watch that all day long. The amount of utility invested just to allow that to happen, but Chow's going to try and be proactive, but this could be a problem. Yeah, on the corner, Lurzi predicts it so well. Gets the timing just right, and that Judge just eats Chow alive, but now the sight hit. How's that going for the FPX side? Not so hot. They've been halted on every angle, but Angel with a connection towards Laurez. The HP, he's left on 11. It ain't much. Headies are all that he can bank on here.
See whether or not FireFlux will even offer another.
Spike retrieved.
20 seconds on that heal coming back. Fault line actually going to catch Zipan. Angel with 11 HP. Try and find something left in here, but Sociable will find his third instead. Back and forth we go. 4-4 now. This is feeling a little more, dare I say, stabilized than the first map. It was two just very one-sided, right?
No.
And now we've just gone the complete opposite direction.
Dude, I mean, the thing is that in my mind, I'm like, okay, if we're looking at the thing that makes like a stable team that finds repeatable success, I'm looking at clean rounds against, you know, their anti-ecos. How are they looking? Well, FF look crazy on their buys. They look amazing in that, but they will get pressured by FPX when they have like a weaker buy sometimes in weird ways. But then FF, when everything combines in the weirdest way, when the stars align, they look infallible. It's so hard to find the balance here. These rounds are very close though. But the way it's going, it's madness personified between these two, but Rifle's out for once. Both teams, fully fledged purchase. And it looks like this A piece is coming through, but there's plenty of players here, and bear in mind that Omen is close. Lurzi leaning a little closer. Not necessarily a one and done. You can see the jump peak there, just resetting the movement nice and quickly. Lurzi good for one and no trade. That's surprising, and actually gets to get away with his life.
That's insane. Again, Zipan can't really swing on that, but gets out a dodge. Sociable unnoted just yet. We'll find the first, and that's the spike, but Shadow there and Angel to respond.
Unimportant.
Bring it down, but a 3v2 now in favor of FireFlux. with the spike planted. Shao and Angel can get done here. It doesn't look like they're going to play this aggressively.
Where is that fool hiding?
That's going to throw a spanner into the works, isn't it? Shao now trying to stay a little mobile, move out of position to maybe give himself a chance on this fight, and it does play an Angel.
No way.
The crossfire holds. This is going to be on Brasco to pull out something of a miracle now. Angel, what a position off the back of Shao there.
Beautiful. As soon as he takes contact, Angel's playing anti-flash on that first. And actually still Shao pretty much turns that first to do a decent amount of damage. FPX actually come out on top. Even with the dual theft. Here it's perfectly played. So well played from both of them there. Great recovery. They trade again.
Hey.
5-4.
Yeah, it's back and forth this game. So different in approach, but Luzzy almost had him Shadow.
You're a lucky boy.
Lucky to be alive. Yeah, you're counting your lucky stars at that point. And he's like, nah, John, I don't really want Showers control anyway.
Okay.
We're not going to clear out these close angles here. Kushni will be noted. Has to dip away here. Sociable. Oh, let's see. We'll have to slip through the TP here now.
Oh,
Angel with the
Brasco.
pinch. Look at that.
That's harsh to watch. Blinded. Everything thrown in. Suppressed. Couldn't get anything going for himself there. As Sociable and Lurzy are two big names to keep your eyes on this round. At least they have the rifles, but Zipan and Shadow.
Please.
Heal me.
Please heal.
Sage, heal.
Looking like one of my ranked games
Sky,
right there.
heal. Someone. But Sociable finds Zipan, but at what cost? HP's looking a little lower. Angel, I think, just popped. Did he pop the ult then? It looks like he did, and he's going to get knocked, not completely out of it. But keep in mind, it's now a 2v2. Sociable's HP is super low. He's got his ult if there's a chance. But look at the time. Look at the HP. It's all falling. Oh, no way. Sociable still got Demasick. It's still game on, but his time is going to start going away from him. Sociable is going to have to back away from this, except that he can't change the outcome. It was quite close, actually, at the end there. A couple of seconds difference.
Yeah, literally. 2 seconds either way. He can satchel back and potentially stick that defuse. I think actually he was weighing up
he was like,
the timing. He was like, wait, could I? No. But again, they make it costly, and an ultimate invested to see how that sets things up for FPX here. Shadow one away from the Seekers. Demasick encroaching on the showstopper once again. The other side, Hunter's Fury, Sociable back on showstopper as well. So 6-4 the scoreline, but FireFlux set up here, and I got to say, that opener, Demasick will fall. No res available. This one leans even heavier in their favor now.
I feel like these two teams, I mean, you know, we'll look at this game back, I'm sure, and you look at the results and go, oh, both maps were very close then, the way it went. You're like, wait, hold on. You have to look a little closer, don't you? Because the first map, you think, oh, that went all the way. That was, but both sides were one-sided. They're the hard ones. And then this is very close, back and forth rounds constantly. Somehow both fashioning a purchase here, of course. And now FPX reevaluating where to start leading. It looks like A may be the center of their attention, but there's 3 players on the other side with quite a deep lean from Sushni already down towards B long, so he could hit that rotation early already. Seekers are around for Shadow, which would give away at least a couple of positions, and that Omen's position will have to fall away. Zipan now going to start building up. He now knows he's in danger. There it is. Good one from Zipan. How did he get that one? Larazo with a quick reply, and it's always being answered every single round, back and forth. But look at the state of what FPX are left with. It's just 2. But maybe those 2 can do something here, because Zipan, I thought he had a second. Laura's outdoes him. It ain't over yet as Shao in a 1v3, 13 seconds, but the flank comes in, and all hopes are denied.
Last round before the switch.
6-5.
Here.
It continues. See, well, FPX, I think actually No, I thought maybe they'd be able to get at least a couple of rifles here. It's a Guardian, Inspectors, even a Sheriff in the hands of Zipan. No showstopper. No freebie in terms of this lesser purchase here. FireFlux poised to close this one out at 6-6. All this space here.
Oh, there is. Demon 6 found it. He's working among... Excuse me? Lara is just seeing stars. He doesn't seem to care. Shock dart over. The follow-up as well. But they've taken a second to pause for thought here. Keep in mind it's Angel playing with that spike. He's trying to bide the time, maybe live through the utility spam that could have come through, and he's done just that, and that's allowed Zipan a little bit of room to get close. Maybe close the gap somewhat, but spike now planted. Time on FPX's side.
Shout on the outside. Ooh. Smoke drops, neither of them spot each other. Re-smoke comes through, actually. If it comes through, we'll get found by Angel, at least. Look at this, the flank from Brasco.
Player standing.
He finds another as well. Oh my word.
This game is so close, dude.
Just to the thought of which he tried, oh yeah, they find that first kill, and then there's 2 or 3 more players from FireFlux that swing on the same angles.
Switching
Just
sides.
stacking up there to play trades. Works out for them so well.
I think the one thing I will always enjoy watching when it comes especially to Turkish teams is the individual firepower that these players seem to always have. Now, obviously, it started in previous titles. You know, they garnered this reputation for always having that spark, that big firepower. How far can it take them? And, you know, we saw, obviously, CNED coming through looking fantastic and a couple of others, but it's so good when we get to these EMEA stages, when we start seeing the bigger regions clashing, that it's not just 1 or 2 players. The entire region is just incredible when it comes to that individual capability. We await to see if it collects as a team, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Giants results does seem to say it might have. We'll check in on that after this game, however, because we are back underway at 6-6 on the flip. It now will be FF on the attacking side and FPX on the defensive side. We have to see if maybe this aggression can find the right places to bring this into play, because again, FPX are good at this, and FF are new to our eyes, but they've already impressed, but they've had some harsh halves already.
Indeed, this early trade-off of damage, though. The FPX are the victors, at least. Initially, as I say that, Zipan will take a tag. FireFlux freeze for a moment. You're ready to swing on the back of that, and he will actually find that. Second evades him, and FireFlux find the trade.
Okay, let's look at the current positions. It's so close by. Look at these two. They are just brute force next to each other. Barely separated by a corner. Zipan does find the captain here. Going to take him down, but now the TP taken, but not all have taken the TP. Just one now, two. Laura is trying to linger a little longer just to see if he could maybe pull some of the attention. You can see Angel considering a rotation, but they've not fallen for this, and Zipan might have just uncovered the secret. They're wrapping back around off the back of the information from Demasik. This is very well handled by FPX, keeping the information in the right places. Shadow set up for success, and Zipan's got his back. FF unable to try and manipulate and move FPX around as they wish they could.
Well, at least we'll get on the board first in the second half. Again, the same questions appear here in terms of FireFlux and what they can bring to their attacking side. What sort of responses they can come up, because expect FPX to play with that set, that very, very deep setup. Wait for FireFlux to force through. This is what we saw earlier. Fan will get the orb and slip away as well. Sushni chipping away. Only got Shao for company here. Lurzi not advancing. Outfall, he will progress here. Actually, just saw Angel do that knife all the way from outside B there. So, key information gathered. Angel now going to head back towards B.
See the patience. Shadow, first bit of contact that's been made since this adjustment to deal with the utility. Flash comes out, confirms attendance now over towards Long, but it is a split. And there is that late lurk as well towards Shower that's still in play, so make what you will of that. Shadow again, the flash still confirming this player's close by, and the knife comes out. That's going to get some more confirmed facts coming through for FPX. As Angel now can post his flash, they are just going to be blinded constantly, flash after flash after flash. Shadow, though, could get checked on here as Brasco just found Angel. Shadow has to get into a sort of fight, but look at these losses now. Again, a little, almost too comfortable. Shao trying to thread the needle, and timing might just be right, maybe not. Loses that second of surprise, but he does at least find sociable. And now looking at what's left, it's a 2v2, but weapons favorable towards FPX. But close by, Shao trying to get closer, creeping on in. Timing's good for Shao this time, and it's all Laura's in a 1v2. HP is low. Spectre's not quick enough on these kills as well. 19 HP. This is miracle sort of levels, trying to bait it, trying to deny it. Halfway now achieved. He gets off it, and Zipan has his back. FPX holding on by a very thin thread.
There's not much to separate them at all in that one. FireFlux nearly making things work for them. Good damage done. It's going to force this reinvestment from FPX, or potentially give them an opportunity to play into a couple, well, 3 lesser weapons here. I think it was 2 Spectres that they held on to. Obviously, we know FireFlux, or expect, will be back on rifles here.
Yep.
And see, again, whether or not FPX want to close the distance here, because it's actually only going to be the Phantom. We know Demon Stick was on the Frenzy in the previous. FPX kind of playing the long game here, Lauren.
It looks like it, and that's I mean, it isn't. It isn't. You're playing the game that you expect yourself to do better later on, which is fine. I don't mind it, but at 8-6, it's scary, isn't it? Because you're gonna have to look at that scoreline getting closer, probably. So we'll see what their nerves are like. But it's 4 players here. This is the right place for FPX. They've got the right site. They've been able to cheat that player over early on, have the additional man. Sushni exploring towards Hookah. Hasn't committed yet, though. Just kind of taking his time by it. There is Shadow on Long still, but that's about it. But they're actually facing this FPX Angel. What? 2 huge frags back to back, and that's a problem now. FPX winning this round was not what it's meant to be like. This was meant to be the one on the board for FF. They had the rifles coming out. They had it all. And then Angel takes a mad fight, finds 2 with a sheriff, and then just fades away into the smoke.
It's just crazy. Crazy to see. Sushni and Lurzi left looking for an answer. Any response at all in this round now.
30 seconds left.
Zipan will spot a knee out of place. Spam comes through the smoke. FPX just holding strong. I say that, Shao will fall. Only a 1-man advantage here.
If they get Angel, game on. They don't get Angel. Angel's got that feeling right now. Zipan closes down the round, and that's now a good chunk of rounds achieved. And of course, if you are looking to maybe watch that other game, the Oxygen Giants game, just take your headset off for a second, because I'm going to talk about the result in that one. Just so I don't want to give you guys spoilers if you're not into it. So there's your warning. If you're not tuned out by now, that's your own fault. It is now a 2-1 to Oxygen. They managed to best Giants, who tore through Europe. So again, this is what we mean about these Turkish regions and the players that come through. Zistau and Mites had a huge performance through that. Like, dangerous levels. And obviously we've seen Vitinho just flying around the map, making the game look so easy. You know, David P reading the timing so perfectly. So again, this region is nothing to underestimate. And you're seeing FPX being pushed several times. But now in this, they found a bit of stability, and them converting that previous round when they kind of held back on the buy, Angel being on what I think it was just like a sheriff. He had full armor and everything, and I think it was Shadow on just a ghost. Being able to get that, look at the money starting to build behind a couple of them. Shadow, 4.6. You've got, you know, money in the bank now starting to build for Zipan, 2. Shao, not too shabby. And on the other side, of course, you're going to have to respect the purchase. You have to respect that the money's gone here. So this should be 10 on the board, but we've seen stranger things already.
That we have. The FireFlux can muster together here, like sheriffs at least, but in round. What the approach is, you can stack up outside, be at least early on. This time around, actually, on the side of FPX, there's 3 set up. Angel playing on site. Shadow and Demasic hold first contact. Shadow on the back of that, going to relay that information. Demasic finds a kill as well. No need for the rotation. Got the entry, at least the first blood, excuse me. They can hold on now. Shadow catches a perfect flash of the Lurzi. And another. That's it. It's just comfortable. Again, not allowing FireFlux to close this distance and make use of the lesser weapons. Great stuff. FireFlux now trying to respond, get themselves into hooker, but that nade might even catch a kill.
Close. Very close. And Sociable and Brasco, a Frenzy and a Sheriff between them. Bit of utility here and there, but yeah, not ideals. And FPX aren't giving them easy fights, and that's not an easy shot. But a good one for Sociable nonetheless. But it's the problem if you look where Shadow's position is. Gonna catch that cross if they try and make it through hookah. Angel being toyed with, that patience being played with. But he's holding. He's not in too much trouble. He knows that he's got Shadow holding that cross if needed. And there's the knife going to come out again just to make sure there's no problem. And Angel. It was actually Shadow to go down, but Angel's contact off the back of the swing is just fine. 3 alive, rifles maintained, apart from the judge, I guess. And 10-6. We start now looking towards FF as to, okay, where's that next layer going to come from? Where's that next adjustment? I'm not sure if it's timeout time yet. Maybe to start talking through things. They've got a buy coming into this. Maybe that previous round was just to talk through it again. You know, in other FPS games, if you're on an eco and, you know, it's not going well or whatever, you use that round to talk through what you're going to do in your buy round. You talk through your approach, maybe the tells that you want to try and exploit, or maybe the next idea. And it looks very much aiming towards that B site, Hypoc.
Was indeed. Angel here to greet them, actually, and Sushni comes out on top of that one. Rolling Thunder in response, and the Neural Theft. FireFlux looking to pile on the pressure. The Showstopper as well. Look at all this space. Shadow isolated in elbow, but the Showstopper doesn't find him.
I don't know how he's alive, but he is. He lives to fight another day, to find that next breath, but the site's taken. That has to be respected. With Angel gone, who's been the gatekeeper of this, they can't do much about it. Flash goes in. He's got a second to follow. Xiao's going to take up that position. He knows that there was trouble. Flash goes again. He's blind, but Xiao isn't sitting. Anti-Flash!
Oh my God.
Eats 3 alive. Lurzi, Sushni, Brasco, all dead and buried, put to bed. Zipan lines him up and knocks him down. FPX. What an answer.
The paranoia is pixel perfect from Xiao. Setting Zipan up for success there. Cleaning that up after... I gotta say it. Everything done right by FireFlux. First blood in their favor. Showstopper. Shadow has to respect it. Has to give up all of that ground for free. Then what happens? Xiao posts up with a judge. It's just... it's disgusting. Watch this though. The paranoia is beautiful. You can see the smile on Zipan's face. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah. I'll take those. Thanks, Xiao.
Out of charge.
And we have to ask how much is left in the tank for FF. A great start. Hitting that, you know, first half that just stunned us all. Stunned us all. We were just taken aback. And then you get the heartbreak of the second half. And now this. Being ground down, broken away at by FPX, but already there's the Hunter's Fury going to come through. Sushni is, he was just ahead of it, kind of forced over, and look at it. Isolated individual pieces being pulled apart. Sociable is doing everything he can, though, to try and keep this together for FF. And he's done so well, but he's brought it to a 3v2. Angel is on the ground for now, on the knees. Has to respect it. Spike gonna go down as Shadow and Demasic. Where is Demasic in this? Of course he's flanking. Where else would he be? Around the back here, but the wall still has a piece of it in place, so gonna keep them slightly safe from it. Attention still being drawn, but Demasic draws blood. That's big towards Brasco and Nade and the Boombot to follow, and FPX aren't doing them. Lurzi! He can't do anything. He had to take the fight. He loses his life, and FPX will make it to 12 on the board.
Fantastic stuff. Again, just the response, just the contingencies in place for if FireFlux find those, you know, those conditions in the early round that you'd never really bank on going against FPX because they play so deep, because they play so disciplined, right? And even when it happens, it's like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. You roll it back another couple of steps, and FPX just, they're in total control of that round. FireFlux again left struggling to find success here in the second half. 6 rounds unanswered. No ultimates available. Rifles, yes. Brasco struggling. And then look at it on FPX.
6 on the trot. That's what I'm looking at for FPX. Back-to-back rounds. This timeout is going to have to be something crazy to come up with. I mean, if anything, this is a good takeaway for FPX fans, that they've got a good-looking squad coming back into this at decent strength with some new looks. I was a little worried when we got onto Ascent and it looked a little bit of the same. I was a little bit worried about that, you know, they've had some time away from the spotlight, they've lost that #1 target on their back some time ago now. Maybe this is the rebuilt FPX, but we don't know, comparison-wise, how strong either of these teams are compared to everyone else in this tournament. It's hard to tell. But we go back in, and what could be the final go of this Hypoc?
It looking like a fast piece towards A, at least initially. Lurzi, TP across. Xiao finds the second. Sociable. Now Lurzi got to find something. It's Loris, actually, instead, so... Entry gained. How do FPX respond?
Spike planted.
Well, it starts with what looks like Lamb's control. Demasig just flies on in. And we look at what it comes down to. The 3 that stand. Laurez, Lurzi, and Zushni still alive. Demasig just doesn't care. He's just carrying on. And look at the flank.
What?
Found. Laurez gives them a lifeline, but it is a lifeline and it ain't much. Barely alive, but he's still fighting. He's still doing everything he can. And he gives them one more shot at this.
Seemingly from nowhere, Laura scraping the barrel, digs deep and finds a response and a round victory. What does it amount to? What's the next step? Because FPX still got another round in hand, actually, and it was only the showstopper. Still have Seekers, still have the Res, and the Shadows as well. FireFlux clinging to life. I get that 5th rifle on round as well, which is huge.
Go again. This is it. And Sociable still being the first man forward. Weighing heavily on his shoulders now. He can't get it. Angel's denied him, and he's been good at finding that. Laurez, though, has picked up the mantle. Picked up where his buddy left off. Seekers go in. Tries to deal with one. Does. Still 2 more heading on through. They know the positions now, but there's the captain. There's the IGL finding Angel. And now Shadow trying to play back in through on Lamps. There's 2 players here on the other side. They want these fights, but it's a 3v3 and the spike is not down. So the time is yet to be favorable to FF, but they want further fights. They're still trying to lean forward, and it all goes wrong. Falling to pieces for FF, but the victory for FPX. After a solid half, they close out, and they do exactly as asked of them.
Wow, a great way to really right their wrongs from the first map, looking absolutely lost for answers in the first. I mean, you cast that back to, what, 18, 20 rounds ago? It's a different team that ended up on the end of bind there.
Yeah.
It's a really crazy look back, but take nothing away. FireFlux, there's something there, and there's something to be excited about. That was a fantastic first appearance here in the EMEA playoffs, and again, FPX are no slouch, right? So take nothing away. I'm excited to see what we see for the next matchup from them.
I'm in complete agreement. I mean, these guys, if underestimated, seem terrifying to play against. The firepower that can kick in, that we saw kick in, certainly turned some heads in that first half of the first map, but again, taking down FPX is no easy feat. You saw that how long it took Europe to best them. Well, the Turkish region doesn't get it on this try, but it's not like they're out of the tournament just yet. But still, FPX got it together on bind there, don't you think, Hypoc?
Yeah, I'll be honest, pulled something together after... You can say, I mean, I even made the comparison for FireFlux in the first half when, you know, things aren't going your way, and eventually that free success you were finding As soon as that's not there, and you start to, you get to page 5 and 6 of the playbook, and nothing else is working, the mental gets torched, right? So for Ascent to close out in the way it did, it goes to overtime. You get the reset, and FPX still deliver with the map victory. Yeah, it's tough, but again, like I said, FPX, they're a solidified name. They're a household name in EU, even if they haven't got their final validation yet. So I don't want to see FireFlux hang their heads in shame after this.
No, I'm very much with you, but I'm now going to ask a question of all of you at home. Give us your thoughts for the PaySafe card player of the match. Who do you think stood out to you the most there from the FPX team, who obviously picked up the victory? So head over to the socials. You know where to go by now, but it's all down below in case you need it. Shao, Zipan, or Angel. Who stood out to you the most? Who is the player of the match for you there? Obviously the PaySafe card player of the match. So let us know your thoughts. Always love to hear from you guys. I mean, I think the first one, who was it that won it for Na'Vi? I'm trying to think of the name. Was it SSK? Had to have been, surely, because no one else came close. Yeah, I was about to say, but anyway, we're going to head to the break to wrap everything up, and when we're back, the desk will talk you through 1, who won player of the match, which is always important, and 2, everything you have to know about what's coming up and the results elsewhere in the tournament.
Burger? Pie? Try it and decide.
My name is Billy Harney with the Chicago PD. Every detective has a case that changes them forever. This was that case for me. Who knows how deep this goes? But right now, I can't trust anybody.
You know I be on some fly shit. Hero in the nighttime, I just need my sidekick. Sexy in that leather with the tight fit. Try to get between us, I'ma start a riot. Look how she roll it up. There ain't no room in this two-seater, you can't roll with her. It's getting hot up in the city, but don't keep it tucked. I put that tennis on your neck, make sure you cold enough. Yeah.
Well, we just saw FPX take down FF 2-0 there after well, a rather back and forth start to this one. Didn't look like that was going to be the case after that 2-10 scoreline to open this whole series up, if you remember. But in the end, it ends up being a bit of a Xiao show. And we do have that showman standing by. Xiao, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, guys.
Hey, bud. I see you up there on the big screen, looking good. So, first question for you, I guess. Thinking all the way back to the first map, you guys were 2-10 down. It was a rough first half, and then you managed to embark on this huge comeback. What was being said, you know, heading into that second half of play? How did you manage to do that?
Don't know, we just played our game, so first half for us it was like warm-up. We tried to find how to play against them, and they played really good as city side. So we just played our game, nothing special.
What? So is that where someone like Angel, right? You know, we talk about this guy as being like a very experienced leader. Is that where, in those kind of situations where it has been a bit of a slow start and you've had to warm up, is that where he kind of comes in handy?
I don't know. Actually, to be honest, I don't remember like how we played, like our comps during Ascent. So for us, it was like nothing special. We just played our game, like, and nothing to add.
That's a very good word you're using there, Xiao. You're talking about comps, and we have to obviously talk a bit about what happened there on Bind. You first time picking up Omen, we saw obviously Angel pick up KO. Is that something that you had prepared for a long time, or was it a bit of a, let's say, spontaneous decision to swap around here and there?
No, actually, yeah, we prepared like after first challenger. Yeah, we just started like we spent 1 week to find comps for every map, and just we're kind of preparing, like making it ideal, I would say.
Okay, does that mean we can expect a lot more of those very interesting and new compositions from you guys?
It's secret. It's only for FPX players.
Okay.
This information.
I have a question about, you played the Omen for the first time, and so was the KO from Angel. How much of a difference does that make for you guys when it comes to executing attack? Because it's such a stark contrast, right? When Angel is on an initiator, and is it more supportive for you guys, or is it easier to play because of that KO? How does it, what's the difference here?
You mean difference between I'm on Omen and Angel playing on Initiator, yeah?
Yes.
So nothing special. Like everyone from my team knows his role. What should he do? So kind of we have some executions which we prepared before. Everyone just know what to do in what time, I would say. Okay. So it doesn't matter which agent like player is playing. And I can play on Killjoy, for example, and Angel can play on Cypher. It's if you have idea how to play it, how to release it, I would say, why not? We can do it.
I got one more question for you, Xiao, and then I reckon we can look to get you out of here. Obviously, you've still got Supermassive Blaze left to go up against, right? They're the team you're going to be facing next. What are your initial thoughts of this squad?
Don't know. We're gonna do like like tomorrow in the morning. We're gonna do preparation for Supermassive Blaze. Gonna try to find how to play against them, and gonna show our maximum. Today it wasn't a bit. We choked on us and City side, but still fine.
I love it, Xiao, man. I love it. Well, thank you very much for being such a pleasure, and all the best. Good luck getting ready then for the game tomorrow, and hope to speak to you again.
Okay, thank you guys. See you.
Oh man, Xiao's a nice dude. This is great, dude, because I'm getting to like meet a lot of these people for the first time and like talk to them, get an idea for who's like really the kind of on-camera personalities of these squads. I love it. But we've still got more to talk about. There's still a little bit more to come, and that's going to be coming up after the break. So don't go anywhere.
Robert Dubois. He's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU.
I'm not joining your suicide squad.
We'll see.
It's okay, I'm not okay.
Let's meet your team.
I need to feel the raindrops on my head. On my head.
I'm a superhero! I do not know.
Are you in or out?
See the new trailer online.
I remember waking up with that sort of movie moment where somebody says to you, hey, you've been in a car accident. I had no idea where I was. I didn't really understand the fact that I was seriously injured. Something like wearing your seatbelt stopped me from going through the windscreen. I feel as if I'm very lucky. Got through it and, yeah, still here today.
Press F to pay respects to the FF boys. FPX coming in with the victory. Obviously, we just spoke to Xiao. If you missed that, you really did miss a lovely little interview with the guy. But once more, one final time tonight, I got Zest and I got Lothar joining me just to recap what we saw in that series. You know, what were some of the big takeaways from FPX versus FF in your eyes, Zest?
I think the first half was obviously very interesting and very exciting. It was a bit back and forth, but that was not really my focus point, to be honest. Because this back and forth we saw in the first half, where obviously it was, you know, the guys from FireFlux taking a very aggressive stance from time to time. For example, we saw the bathroom push we just had. They played intelligent. I was more astonished by the second half, and not necessarily in a good way, because what happened, it seemed like it was just fundamentals. It was just fundamentals FPX delivered to us in a way where they couldn't cope with that, with those basic plays we witnessed from the Fun Plus Phoenix side.
Yeah, even funnier is what happened in round 2 of Bind, because FF won the pistol round, and then FPX goes into the game with those sheriffs, you know, playing their own game. And it's funny to talk about this, because when I spoke with Dumbros yesterday, I asked him specifically about their approach to low buy rounds, and he said something that makes so much sense, and I spoke about that on my stream so many times, even in ranked games. When you play low buy on a tag, you play your default, you play time, because it's expected of you to make a push. If you do the opposite, your opponents can make a mistake, and that's exactly what happened here. FF got a little bit impatient, and they pushed on long. They lost one player, right? FPX is already ahead, and then they make the rotation through Showers, catch off another player, and they basically win on patience on that round, which is something that destroyed the momentum from FF.
Yeah, I mean, it's always spooky, right? And you really did kind of see the momentum get sucked out of FF in that first half on the back of it. It's always spooky as well when you're up against the sheriffs, when you're up against those low buys, man, and you do overextend, because you go, you know, oh, they're only on a low buy, they shouldn't have much here. And then you end up kind of playing into your opponent's hands. And oftentimes it's like when that first kill goes against you, that's when you feel the momentum like swinging the other way. You get in your own head a bit, right? You're panicking like, guys, we can't lose this. We're not meant to lose this. I do love that thought of like always heading into those low buy rounds with a clear game plan to try and do as much damage as you can. I love that little tidbit that you were able to get, Lothar. Zesh, you know, was there any kind of positives here? If I want to look at FF, if I want to try and build a case and go, well, you know, this was good, what would I be looking at?
I think this would be more a thing about talking at Ascent, about Ascent, what we saw previous,
right,
because
yeah.
this was a very enjoyable thing that, you know, a lot of people always talk about Turkey being super fast and super swift and super high aggressiveness. And at the same time, I very much believe that this was the total opposite, but in a very good way, because this is what I've mentioned in the pre-show. This is where I had the honor to talk to Sela. The thing is that they have this mix of Turkey and Europe in a sense, as that they have absolute patience, and not the best patience. I'm absolutely with you here, which I think is also a bit of an experience thing at one point, because at one point you can just say they have to push us. We don't need to do a thing. But that's going to be the one that I will actually see, is that you shouldn't underestimate them. Angel said they don't underestimate them, and they don't underestimate them for a very good reason. I'm highly impressed what Turkey's delivering.
Yeah, no, I think you got to be, right. You got to be,
yeah.
And it's cool as well, because there is this idea of like having, you know, a whole country behind you, repping you as you do it. Talking about FPX, I think we should really start to look at like who had the most impact here, right? Who was able to get the most done? There was only one guy on a lot of our minds, and for me, it was Xiao. I imagine you guys are in a similar boat there.
Absolutely. I think the most interesting part for me about Xiao is that he's capable of playing new agents and adapting to them so early. I mean, this is a thing in Valorant that nowadays is common standard, right? You have to swap up your agent pool. At the same time, I think Omen is an agent where you can mess up a lot. Specifically with Paranoia, you can mess up a lot with your teammates, and this could become an issue from time to time. That didn't happen too often, and this is what I liked so much about him, that he played a very basic, but yet a very successful Omen, and this is something I think Xiao, you really want to see him do.
Well, I'm trying to listen in for confirmation, because I'd love to know who we have. Oh, hang on a moment. Pay safe card. They say it. We actually do have Xiao as the MVP in that series there. Justifiably so. Guy had a great game. Was on to a banger. There was that moment on Ascent, man, in that first half. We had him over towards Boathouse. He's like back of the site, all alone. 3K to lock in the round. And from that moment on, I was like, ooh, lordy, Xiao's having a game. And when that guy's feeling it, there's not much you can do, right, Lothar?
It was a boathouse.
Boathouse.
Yeah, so I really love that one when he just single-handedly shut down the entire attack from FF. And having a player who is flexible but also very patient when it comes to like holding his angles, and you see how he swiftly just micro adjusts for the next peak. It's very nice to know exactly what to expect from your players. It buys time. It's milliseconds sometimes even, but it's enough for the rotation also to make an impact. So Xiao is a clutch factor for FPX for sure.
And I think one of the things you see with Xiao is that he's individually blessed, obviously great skill, but also what you mentioned there on Ascent is one thing he did. He had perfect understanding of his position and how he needs to slightly adjust. So those are the tiny things where he's not only mechanically good, but he understands how to set himself in a position that his opponent is slightly confused. And this is the great part, because at that point you don't need to have great or not only great mechanical skill, but you can really compensate that and even become better by just outplaying your opponent with those small tiny things. And this is what I really like. He's intelligent and also skilled. That's crucial.
Zesh, do you have a breakdown little clip for us? Apparently you do. So, yeah, man, you want to walk me through it? You want to imbue me with some knowledge, my guy?
We're taking a look at something very small. Super, super small thing. But this is one of the best crossfires we've seen throughout the game. And there you have it again. The spike is coming down, and at that point in time, we see FireFlux certainly making a move. And you see they have a man advantage, 3 versus 2 here. And FPX, obviously, they don't have a great time at that point. And suddenly, they start to make the move on the side. Information gained. So at this point, they're known. Instantly make a move and realize we have to readjust ourselves so we're not that predictable. And suddenly the crossfire, when they come around tank, is brilliant. This is what you want to see. They have not lost this in any situation. It didn't look like they lost control because they really knew how to adapt to this positioning and make it work, that they're actually just running into a meat grinder.
Yeah, no, man, that is a beautiful clip and beautifully put, Zesh, man. I love it. I love that you've got these little nuggets of gold for us. And, man, FPX did look really good today. I'm glad that we had, you know, kind of like the meta-defining moment where they come in with the Kalo pick as well. And they managed to make it work, perhaps more importantly.
Yeah, when it comes to KO, it wasn't that impactful when it comes to like, oh, it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
you know?
we weren't looking at that going, KO is why they've won this,
yes,
right?
but there was one round on attack when it's actually quite hilarious because we have seen Angel go in with the ultimate, right? And on the other side, on FF, Sushni swapped his sides with the Cypher. So he was like, oh, okay, they have the ultimate from KO. I'll be smarter. I'm going to go to the other side so I'm not affected. And then that's where Angel went and just popped the ult so it disabled the Cypher traps, right? So one of the most common things that we probably will see in the future is that when the Cypher plays on defense, he's going to play his traps on one side, go to the other side to not be affected at all by the KO, but that's going to develop further in the metagame. Now, when it comes to other rounds, what I have loved really from the KO usage that we have seen, it was also a combination of recon. Like on one of the rounds, on pistol round actually, from FF on attack, they were getting caught in lamps by the dagger from Angel that gave info exactly how many people are there, and then they started doing the teleport to B. But still, Zipan was holding lamps because they remembered that there were one player more that could have stayed on lamps, and they got that kill on the rotation. So there's a lot of small things that happen with the KO, but we also have seen very characteristically for Angel to flash himself, you know, because he was doing that on Phoenix as well. So that we have seen one overhead flash straight into his own eyes.
Yeah, no, man, it's a beautiful thing. And Lothar, one thing I want to say as well, just to break the fourth wall a little bit. Normally, we're on like a bit of a timer, right, at these moments. And Lothar always wants to say like so much of the knowledge he's got. And so now that we're not on a timer, I love that you do. You're just like, right, this is everything I've had prepared. This is what we're doing. It's the Lothar show now. Yeah, and that's the thing. You do have even more. But sadly, we are going to have to start to wrap up today. So I think a good place to start is taking a look at the bracket, right, and seeing how today has panned out. We've got that locked and loaded. Zesh, your eyesight's far better than mine, and you're also a lot smarter, maybe even more handsome as well. So can you talk me through this?
I think one of the three I definitely am. The most interesting part is how strong Turkey actually is. To be honest, let's be real for a second. We could have never expected that Na'Vi actually wins against Team Liquid. I even talked to Redgar from Gambit, and he said, I can't believe what I've seen. This is madness. At the same time, it is also Vodafone Giants who are losing against Oxygen. So all those regions that were sometimes maybe a little bit belittled previous, also in Stage 2, they're really starting to push the limits, and I love that. This is the actual clash of regions happening.
Well, the metagame is evolving in every single region. You know, you can see that even in ranked games. They're just way more competitive players right now. They're both better in aim, but also in the tactical approach, and it's also seen in the teams that are competing. Like, Europe was being perceived as one of the best regions tactically, but they are not advancing as fast as the other regions are learning.
Yeah, and look at this, right? We got the schedule for tomorrow, and Zesh, I can already see you're getting fired up about this one. I'm imagining you want to talk about that first matchup.
It's absolutely what we're going to have there, because what Na'Vi did against Liquid is something I cannot see them do against Ascent again. But what do they have up their sleeve? What kind of repertoire they pull out of the hat? This is the question I'm having, because legitimately everybody is saying Ascent need to win this, and there's no discussion about it. At the same time, I'm just kind of eager to see. Realistically, I don't necessarily believe Navi's going to do it, but it's going to be one hell of a match, I imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be a sick benchmark as well for seeing where this Na'Vi squad lie. I think a lot of people are looking at Ascend as like the heavy favorites here, and so it's going to be sick to see what kind of a test they're able to put them through. Well, that's all the action over here on the EMEA side of things for today. There's still more Valorant to come this evening. That's, of course, over on the NA side of things, right? We've got Rise taking on TSM. That's over at Valley Sports. Just add a 2 onto the end and you would be golden. Then we also have Luminosity taking on FaZe. You can put a 4 on the end of the URL. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you here, but I think y'all can keep track. And you should be all well and good on your way to even more VCT action. Gentlemen, that's all from us this evening. There's great games coming up tonight that I imagine we're going to go back to the hotel and watch, right? So any final words from you, Zesh?
this has probably been one of the most unexpected days of the entire EMEA region, because we all didn't see this happen. But this is just the start of the fireworks. This is just the start of this roller coaster ride. And this means that we're going to get a lot more of those bangers.
I think you're downplaying a little bit yourself and us here, because we all predicted Navi to win, right? So...
yeah, it's a victory, not just for Navi, but for us as well. And what would it be if we didn't make it at least a little bit about us for the sake of our egos, right? That's all for the end. That's all for tonight. We'll be back with more Valorant tomorrow.
You know I be on some fly shit. Hero in the nighttime, I just need my sidekick. Sexy in that leather with the tight fit. Try to get between us, I'ma start a riot. Look how she roll it up. There ain't no room in this two-seater, you can't roll with her. It's getting hot up in the city, but don't keep it tucked. I put that tennis on your neck, make sure you cold enough.
I promise if you ride
game and you're just like, can I watch that? I kind of want to see what's going on in there. This is an event, right? So
yeah,
they played almost more rounds than that than we saw from other teams that played 2 entire maps. It's really crazy, but we're only moments away from getting the agent select. You talked about how these teams like to play this map so far since July 1st. If we want to go back about a month and a half, it's a 5-1 record for TSM. For Rise, it's a 5-0 record. They both know it quite well. In terms of agent composition, TSM, over the last couple times they've played it, they like to stick with the same lineup. KO would be interesting because he has not been shown yet by TSM on this map. That might be a curveball that Rise Nation would have to deal with, but obviously it's not locked in just yet. It could be Wardell trying to trick us before we actually get into the match.
Yeah, and then on the Rise side of things, this is the standard lineup for Rise. Now, they did, towards the end of last month, they did actually change their lineup just a little bit. They took off the Jet and put on the Sky in the hands of Shanks for Split, and that's going to be maintained here. This will be their second time in recent history playing with this lineup, but it seems to be the one that Rise is practicing with more recently. I mean, that interesting stuff going on TSM side is a little bit more present in the mind, I'd say.
It was noted, as we're still waiting for the agents to be finally locked in, that the controller player for TSM, Bang, usually goes with Astra. This is a stable pick, but there seems to be some reluctance. Either that or TSM are just taking their sweet time. It looks like they've got everything in there. Hazed on the Cypher is pretty normal. Wardell on the Jet. So maybe they were just trolling us, trolling you all at home, as this is the exact same lineup from TSM that we have seen them on the last 4 times that they've come to Split. This will now be 5th in a row.
I mean, in last 30 days, we have seen Wardell play Sage a couple times, but I mean, to see him on anything other than Jet would have been weird, so he was probably just messing with us. Overall, though, yeah, pretty standard stuff here for both of these teams going into this map. This is what we expect to see them playing on Split. Nothing varying at all, really.
I mean, I desperately wanted a KO as well.
It would have been interesting, that's for sure. And to see Wardell play KO, no less, that would have been... I mean, I'm sure he's got some creative things he could do there.
Yeah. Obviously, when a lot of people will think of Wardell and they'll think of the Jet play on the operator and everything, the space he can make on that and the damage that he can do. And he comes in as with a very impressive kill tally to this matchup. Actually, one behind Subrosa in that extraordinarily riveting matchup between TSM and Envy. I don't know if you watched it. I did. And it was absolutely electric, and I think it was the billing that we had hoped for from some of the games that were a bit more lopsided yesterday.
Now, starting off here today, at the early action, it's going to be default here, run by Rise, and they're just probing what they can probe. Spike is down by attacker spawn, so you can tell they're going to be playing this one slow. Nothing too special going off yet. You can see the Viper screen is set up from TSM on the A side, and that's going to slow down any pressure on this side. Boys setting up those cages, and he's got them out. Now he's ready to obstruct the line of sight as an A execute comes out, if it comes out. But again, that is not definitive just yet. Both of these teams just sizing each other up, trying to figure out what they're doing.
And mid's being held quite heavily right now. 3 lines of sight from TSM, all concerned with the same area. It's going to be an A take, as you talked about, though the spike might be a bit of a distraction. It's the hands of Poised. He's accompanying Superman all the way on the other side of the map. First kill is going to come in. TSM doubling up on these numbers, continuing to pay dividends on this first pistol round. It's going to leave the 2 remaining members of Rise to try and take B site all on their lonesome. Now, while we say that, it's Bang to defend against the push that'll come on in. Wardell, he's called in action, and from above manages to take out Poised, leaving Superman in a 1v4. He's done for. Bang takes it. And round number 1 goes in favor of TSM.
All right, so a couple things. Obviously, I like the way that Rise plays that. That was a fake or an attempted one. Very slow early default. They set themselves up for the late flank into blue. Unfortunately for Rise, the TSM players on A, number 1, were extremely successful in rebuffing the fake. An easy hold there for them. They put up the kills. Number 2, TSM does not over-rotate, so they're expecting the fake, and then they're expecting the second punch coming to B. It does come out, and TSM is ready for it. Props there to TSM, and Bang in particular, for not overstepping on the rotate.
This looks like it's a bit of an inversion now from Rise, as Spike is down over towards A, 2 different members of their team looking towards B, and they will do probing, as you talked about it, probing to see exactly what the defense has. And, well, for TSM, the defense is very aggressive. Leviathan will take point on this with Bang backing him up. 2 kills for Leviathan. Still staring deep into the heart of where that push was. And again, the last 2 members of Rise are isolated over towards B.
But this time, Parker, they do not have the spike. And that's a particular tragedy because B was open for a period. Now, of course, you still have the Cypher utility there from Hazed holding up the B push. But opportunity presented, even if it was slight, and opportunity missed for Rise. Could be a probe over by mid. There's Neptune trying to see what he could see, and he will find a bullet from Wardell. That's the final kill for Sub Rosa over on B. Once again, a nice hold from TSM. I want to point out that push through the Nebula on A main, 3 players from Rise. Not a single point of damage done to TSM. And I know, of course, they've got pistols, but they just didn't hit a single shot. The blind was really rough.
There's Flawless, and then there's Take No Damage Flawless.
At least on the initial, yeah.
Yeah. So, all told, I mean, things go according to plan. Won't be a full buy from TSM. They're going to try to thrifty this one. Instead, the guns will come out for Rise. Their focus is on mid this time. So they've changed up where the spike is going to go on all 3 occasions thus far. It hasn't paid dividends through the first 2 rounds. Hoping for the Rise fans that they'll actually be able to do something with this one in comparison to the first 2 rounds.
Now, thanks to the dog, they did just find out that events are clear. So there is potential for Rise to make a play. But as we're seeing right now, they are still very cautious on the way that they're playing this. Rise are not fully committing to anything. They're not trying to seize upon opportunities as they're presented. They are sizing up every scenario almost to a point where it might become debilitating.
Gonna try to flash out Leviathan at the top of ramp. They do just that. Audio Q could possibly come in, but no, Leviathan's there on the flank if he decides to move a muscle. Instead, Rise is going to try to take this A site. And they're in. They've got it all and everything that they want. So for TSM, they'll eventually be in this post plan. A spike is going down. Leviathan will hear that sound, and then the thud confirms exactly what we knew. Everybody's still alive, by the way. And with the exception of Shanks having taken some damage earlier on, nobody was really in a bad spot. Leviathan once again starts the killing. He'd done that in the second round. He'll do it again this time. Sabrosa's at his side. 2 down, 4 Rise. They'll continue to fall. Another for Leviathan, but Neptune is there to stop them. Out goes one of those paint shells, but it's him in a 1v3, and they collapse on him. TSM have the post plant perfectly in their clutches, and they'll go up 3-0.
Well, you said it, Parker. Everyone's still alive when that spike gets planted. And you really have to commend TSM for not overstepping their bounds. Lesser teams would have tried to force through the nebulas. They would have tried to initiate on solo engagements, but no. I mean, we actually just saw in the interview before this match started, Rosa talking about how, sometimes when you have your players not doing their job, not in the right place, and things just aren't connecting, you could kind of psych yourself out. Well, TSM clearly not in that place right now, as they set up perfectly for that retake. They had 2 people coming from main, trying to retake on the flank watch that was poised, and then once you get that collapse, now your ramp players are activated, and you've got a crossfire on the other attacker playing by main. Easy retake on the flank, and really there's nothing that Rise could do to stop this now from TSM. Well done, well put together.
The big gamble on that eco's now hurt Rise, and what will likely be a punishing one for TSM. Leviathan on those opening picks. The desk highlighted Wardell, but it's Leviathan to make his mark so far through this matchup. Downfall 2 members of each team, though, so it's far more even than you'd think. Reunited with the operator in his hand. That's a pick from Wardell up top. And now Rise will try to rotate through vents. The last 2 members. It's a narrow advantage for TSM at the moment with still a minute to go. Intel from Hazed, and there goes the ice wall. Down goes that intel that we talked about. The cam for the Cypher, no longer available. So Hazed will look towards screens. Try to hold a drop when it comes in from Rise. They've been pinged away, so he knows that they're coming. Unspotted, good trigger discipline. Can only connect with 1, though. Derek walks away from that one with 85 HP. Finally, out goes the tracker, and Wardell and Bang will need to be the ones to stop this, as it's another post plant this time around. Well, there's not quite 10 people alive in the server, just 3. Derek's taking a beating. He'll play by elbow. Watching towards screens. TSM up top. We've got a line of sight on him. Bang knows he's there. And wait. Wardell scouts out to see if he's going to be even closer where the spike is. If Rise looks the wrong way, if Derek looks the wrong way, that's it. And a nice shot from Bang will clean it up. TSM yet to drop a round here.
I mean, you got to try and take an isolated 1v1 there. if you're Derek. You got to push the fight. Unfortunately, just couldn't land the shot onto Bang. Not even a single bullet once again. Again, the patience for TSM coming through there. Hayes was in a great spot to get the cross. These 2 kills here from Leviathan to start off the round. That, just right off the bat, you're putting Rise at such a disadvantage. I mean, it really was them trying to fight back from being down bad through most of that round due to that initial entry. And it begs the question, Parker, where is the utility buy vents? Why are we not using our Nebulas or Supermen or any kind of disruption on vents if we're going to be pushing mid towards Male? This round, Leviathan's going to drop the Viper's Pit early on, so that's your mid control basically in the back.
And if you see the positioning right now of Rise, they had 2 stacked up towards mid. Neptune was thinking about doing something with that as Shank sends out one of those flashes but doesn't find or connect with anything that he wants. Leviathan thinks he has a read on it and firing blind. I don't think he knows how close he is to being able to tag one of them. It's poised now to assist over towards mid while the rest of Rise's focus is over on A, and they'll come to a head against Bang, who holds that tight angle.
Be careful about the gravity wells and the Nova Pulse potential there on the stars that pre-placed here for Bang. Might be ready for the entry. We'll see. Oh, as it looks like, might be the all coming out here from Shanks, and there's the Seekers.
Perfectly placed. Bang will have to contend against all of them. He's blind, gunned down by Shanks, and now Rise will continue their assault towards Heaven. Another Bang will go out. Sabros is the one to deal with that. Shanks has the control that he wants up top in Heaven while the rest of the team is wiping out TSM. Wardell and Leviathan in a do-or-die situation. Looking to try to maintain and extend this perfect streak that they're on of 4 rounds. 30 seconds remaining, and the control that Rise has is good. 3rd time's a charm in this post plant right now, but, well, it's dire for TSM. Leviathan's been hitting his shots all throughout. One on the retake. We'll look for more. Side by side with that ice wall. He's going to have to swing, and he misses. There's 2 different eyes from Rise looking at that one spot. Wardell now in a 1v4, and my goodness, Rise looks like they're sitting pretty. So Wardell will stay in mid, and he'll save the op unless somebody from Rise can find him. Doesn't look like they're going to try much, but Rise, they get themselves on the board.
Obviously, it's ideal for Wardell to save the Operator. I don't know if he's going to get away with it. You can see he's trying to hide his barrel there. Operator has a very long barrel, and he's actually, it looks like he is successful in pointing the barrel at the floor. They do overlook him in med. I think they even know that he's, yeah, he must know at this point. That's great for Wardell. So, but talking about that round, really great entry there from Shanks, especially using the Guiding Light and the Seekers to great effect. I think both of his Guiding Lights hit perfectly. There's the first one, and he gets that free entry. It doesn't even matter that the Gravity Well is out there. He just walks right through it. Second one, again, that's a blind opponent. Sabrosa can't really do anything there. And Rise now have full sight control, so massive props to Shanks for that. He even had the Trailblazer still in his pocket for the post plant, which is great use of utility.
It looked like Sabrosa wanted to swing from the top of ramp to assist as well, but he got chased off when those Seekers came out, and unfortunately for him, Bang fell a little bit earlier than they wanted, and that was it. They could continue their push onward, and then the flash was ultimately what sealed the deal. Good utility usage, and you talked about this. Why didn't we see more of that from Rise earlier on? They find their footing in that round. Now we look towards round number 6, and it's mid-control for Rise, as they will look like they're setting up potentially for B, but they've been split up quite heavily thus far. Spike has been dropped over by Ramen, and they'll have to retrieve it at some point.
So Leviathan has been playing by vents for a lot of this this match here, and it's actually switched. Hayes is now playing it, but he's playing very passive, as you can see, far back, just waiting for someone to drop, and that has allowed Rise control of top mid, which gives them a lot more, I guess you could say, of a crossfire potential on site, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to go ahead and ult in.
Oh no, a bit of a misplay there from Neptune. TSM hits their marks twice in a row. Shanks trades one back. Sabrosa up top has a potential second. Wardell's the one credited with that one, and Superman very quickly in a 1v4. It's a quick push from Rise, but unfortunately it doesn't go anywhere, and Superman's just got way too many targets. They only let Rise get one round, no streak for them, as TSM takes the very next round right back, and their lead is back to 4 rounds.
Yeah, I think Neptune kind of bumped his head on the ceiling there. The satchels did not work out great for him, and that set him up to not get a lot out of that showstopper. Unfortunate, but it does happen. Sometimes your blast pack placement isn't ideal. So Rise, now, spending a little bit on that round in terms of their economy. Obviously, they are not in a great spot right now, so they're not going to be able to bring full rifles. And if they lose this one, then it gets even worse. Wardell, very aggressive on B main, trying to get the pick that is not there. As you can see, it's a safe play here from Derek as he's just holding the lane.
And that's a shot that Wardell is very capable of hitting. So if Derek wants to continue to tease that with that little jiggle peek that he does, the jump around the corner for information, well, try as best as you can. Most of the focus from Rise right now is either over towards B or at mid. You've got Shanks waiting for the cage to go down, and Leviathan will meet his doom. He knows that the Viper's there, but it's a missed shot. Standing next to Shanks is Superman, and they can continue to push towards A if they need to. They'll run right into Hayes, though, who's sitting, waiting very patiently. Leviathan, who's over at screens, is now crept up. So TSM at least knows that there's some more presence than a single person, and they'll try to fight back from Heaven all the while. Rise has now moved over towards Heaven. I don't know if they saw Sabrosa jumping up or not, but they'll take Heaven control.
Wardell's committed to A. This is working out right now for Rise. They have every advantage on B if they just commit to the execute.
And there you go. Final 30 seconds. Ice Wall will go up, and they'll now go to charge on in. Seeker's tossed out from Sabrosa. Flash popping. Oh, can't connect. No. Derek is the better one in that duel, but Bang is there for insurance. 2 big kills traded off. Supermen, Shanks, they're in the site, and they'll need to get that spike down. They're running out of time. Are they going to be able to do it? Poised? Well, it seems like he will. With just 7 seconds left, the utility usage and then the objective play from Rise is good. A 3v3. The divide is up. Superman playing off of it. Need we remind you that you can't hear anything on either side. The positioning right now that we see out of Superman and Poised, depending on where the re-entry comes from TSM, they could potentially capitalize in the midst of the smoke. Wardell takes down one. He's done for. Superman picks up his 3rd kill, and Leviathan will need to play the hero. Does he have information? Spike is getting close to the point of no return, but no, it's Shanks from the back with the operator. Rise takes yet another round. It's still 5-2 for TSM, but at least Rise, well, they're putting some rounds on the board.
Wow, what a round. Rise successful on the fake out. We saw Wardell rotating through defender spawn, going all the way over to A. He even second guessed it for a little while. It looked like he was going to come back to B, but no, he committed to A, expecting that to be the push. Then when the B push did come out from Rise, this time around, they made it work for them. They were lethal on the initial execution. It got a little bit hairy there when Bang was getting kills on the flank from main, but that was cleaned up quick enough, and the Cosmic Divide from Superman was perfect to hold that post plant.
Oh, Neptune doesn't realize how close he came. The tracking from Wardell in mid, just a little bit too slow. Zoom on over to Leviathan now. He'll hold by A, unfortunately. Leviathan, well, maybe comically baits out Hazed on that one. At least Leviathan has the information, and Levi can push up. There's a tripwire there. I don't know if he's going to see it or not, be able to take care of it. If he does, though, there'll be a sound that'll go out, and Rise will likely know that there's somebody on the flank. The focus from Rise is now shifted. It was early on over towards A. That's where the first pick came onto Hazed, but now Rise is rotated towards B.
This has been called, though, obviously, because we're seeing Leviathan so far pushed up. Now he's in attacker spawn, so it's well known that this is a B take. But actually, they could wrap. As you can see, Neptune is in A heaven, and the spike's going to follow him there.
Sabrosa just firing blindly into the smoke, and Leviathan's on the flank. Do they know he's there? He takes down one, but Derek swats him away. Immediately, Shanks is brought back from the dead by the Sage of Derek. Spike being planted. Plenty of time in the corner. And that's A. The entire focus from TSM has been over towards B, and right under their noses, they were baited out. Neptune will now try to hold. Nice shot from Wardell to try and retake from defender spawn. He's going to have to do a little bit more work with that operator. It's a 3v4 right now, favoring Rise. Poised could take them down. He'll continue to narrow the numbers, and there they all go. Everybody from TSM falls down like dominoes, and Rise puts 2 in a row.
Oh, that really was a bait that time, Parker. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but what we just saw there was Leviathan pushing up far, deep into A main. He's getting towards attacker spawn, and Leviathan, obviously, in that scenario, he's going to call, hey, guys, A is fine. They're going up for a B push. There was nobody by A main. So what happened is TSM hard rotated to B. They had heavily stacked up on it, and they were ready to deal with any kind of B push. But Rise detected that vents were clear, and they went for the ropes play. They pushed all the way into A, Heaven, and they're like, hey, we could just walk in to site. Leviathan's all the way in our spawn. This is a freebie. Then they also stop that flank from Leviathan. It gets worse and worse as it goes on for TSM. Nice play from Rise.
I will say, I really appreciate from Rise how they're not committing wholly to one site. We've seen a number of teams now on Split where they'll stack up 4 or 5 on one site and they'll hard commit. And when things don't work, they just continue to ram their head against a wall. With Rise, there's this fluidity, and they'll keep somebody over towards A, they'll keep some towards mid, they'll try to hold that map control for as long as they can. Unfortunately for Sabrosi, he gives his position away, and that map control that we were talking about by Rise nets a kill onto the sky. Is Neptune still watching in this spot? Up next is Hazed. You'll see that tripwire go out, and he'll try to blast away. Rather, the tripwire is from Poised, and, well, the better Cypher in this case is on the side of the red team. Continuing on, Rise take out 2 more. They're all falling, like I said, like dominoes, and it will continue. This is a long streak as it's banging a 1v5. TSM's already got a flawless on the board. It's time for Rise to be able to put this one up. The economy being what it was, unsurprising that TSM are coming out like robber barons, but there's an opportunity for Poise to maybe try something. He'll test his reflexes, but Neptune says no thank you. 3 kills, and that'll be the round. Rise now only 1 away as TSM are in trouble.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with your observation there, Parker. The fluidity from Rise has been excellent as this game has gone on. It looked like it was causing them problems at the beginning, but now that Rise has found their footing, they really are, like, they know what they're getting themselves up to. So it's going to be a tactical timeout here for TSM. Bit of a reset. I think this is the right time. The momentum is shifted, and now you're at the point where, okay, TSM's economy is, not exactly in shambles. They're going to be able to buy this round, but if they lose, things get really difficult. So yeah, appropriate time to just pause and consider your move.
Yeah, I think this is as good time as any. Rise seemed to have some stumbles early on, and TSM had a couple commanding rounds. Obviously, that's heavily impacted by that first round breaking in TSM's favor. There's momentum that carries over through that, especially with the way that the economy system works. So you expect TSM to be able to do that, but after that, Rise now, they're confident. They're not falling into these traps. They're using their utility well. It was almost like when you asked that question, why are you not trying to flash out Leviathan? Why are you not using your utility on these engages? And guess what? They started doing that. They started doing it very effectively. And the moment that Rise seemed to get a temperature check on a particular site, they were very quick to fall off and go somewhere else. And I know we already said it. It's a great word. We can say it many, many times, but that fluidity is so far what has helped Rise through those last 3 rounds and 4 of the last 5.
Yeah, it's especially apparent. It doesn't even seem like some of these plays that Rise are making are necessarily planned. They're just adapting. Well, early on here, we saw Wardell previously trying to go for the pick by B main. This time, it's Shanks on that Sky operator. If he can make it work, then he can make it work. And Wardell, meanwhile, is pushed up by A, trying to fish for a pick. Not going to find anything just yet. There are 2 players here. It's Superman and Poised. Yeah. Now, once again, the spike is dropped in advance. Now, that suggests to us what's going to happen. Obviously, TSM doesn't know, but this is going to be an A execute. Now, we were talking about how Rise can change on the fly, but when they drop that spike, typically they are the type of, they're going for the type of execute where it's a full stack up, like the one that you were discussing earlier that we see so often on this map.
Rise have also been very patient on a number of these rounds, so much so that it's, there's 10 seconds left until they can get that spike down, which might be some cause for concern from them. Wardell now will see the push come in, though. No more patience for Rise. They decide to take action, and it's Hayes to mow them all down. Neptune trades back, but still TSM, unfortunately for their fans, they're trailing in numbers. Missed opportunity from Wardell as he'll now retreat. And spamming right through the smoke in front of screens is Superman. They've got control of the site, so with that, Rise will try to get the spike down. Eric now stopping Vent's play with that ice wall going out, and his attention is over towards screens. Does TSM still have a numbers advantage on this one? But they'll have to do what they've done a couple times thus far, which is successfully retake. Their numbers advantage continues to grow. Leviathan finds 1. Neptune and Wardell inches away from coming to blows. The smoke will clear. Wardell sees him, tags him, takes him out. Superman in a 1v4, a 1v3, 1v2. No, it's a 1v3 that becomes a 3v0. And once again, TSM on the retake are strong. Timeouts seem to work, and they'll take their 6th round.
And you know why they're strong, Parker? It's because of plays like the one we saw from Wardell. Obviously, that 2-piece for Hayes as he's standing at the top of ramp, managing to spray those players down on the initial entry. You're about to see it in just a second, likely in the replay package. There it is. That's huge because that sets the tone for the retake later. But if Wardell hadn't gotten out because of his great game sense, yeah, he's missing his shots with the operator, but if he hadn't gotten out, then you're looking at a man even split, actually, on the man count, and then the retake is made that much harder. So real props to Wardell getting out of there, getting that 1 kill as well by screens, and that just, it makes the job of the rest of his team so much easier. Good use of the Cloudburst. Now, by mid, it's going to be early control for Rise, and they're stacking up the utility heavy towards B Heaven.
Oh no, again, Neptune just not good enough with that showstopper. Tried earlier, failed, and TSM swat away this aggressive take from Rise. We talked about their patience. Well, they decided to do a shoe at this time and go for broke. Unfortunately for them, TSM read them like a book. Has Subrosa's position been spotted, by the way? A pop flash is going to go out, and like that, Hazed and Banger down for the count. Subrosa's missed an opportunity, so instead he'll be posted up on Heaven. He's got the attention of Derek. Shanks turning around. Wardell's good on these shots, and he'll continue to hit them as much as he wants. Spike gets planted, a 3v2 for TSM. Once again, another post-plant situation. Ultimates will come out. The divide from Superman will try to stop them as a heal from Derek comes in. Superman now creeping up a little bit more. He's going to need to watch left and the right. Doesn't understand where they're playing in hell. He might turn his back to it. Out goes a flash. Subrosa connects. A bit of missed aim, but he'll end up outdueling Superman. Leaving Derek in a 1v3. A beautiful shot, but Subrosa shuts him down. That should be an easy defuse as well, and TSM will take their second in a row, going up to 7-4.
So that was interesting. Shanks and Superman tried to actually position themselves, or actually I believe it was Derek, but they tried to position themselves in the post plant off the Cosmic Divide so that they didn't have to solo hold each lane. So you got 2 different sides of that pillar push that you're going to be expecting from the enemy, and whichever one it happens to be, you want to be stacked up so you have the advantage in man count. Because of that kill from Subrosa, that opened up Derek on the flank there, and it made it really hard for that south side of pillar to be held. So the Cosmic Divide could have been the saving grace there for Rise, but not so. Well played from TSM, once again retaking. That has been, as we've mentioned before, one of the shining lights for TSM through this match.
So we continue onward. Nice shot from Wardell. Okay, immediately back away, soaring through the sky, but the classic is out. And that's like a clay pigeon. TSM right now sweeping through this Rise take, as now the final 2 members of Rise will head up to Heaven. Subrosa is up there, though. He can shut you down very effectively. Cage goes, spraying through it. A flawless to end the first half? Possibly. It's going to be Derek right now in a 1v5. What can he be able to pull off? A nice kill for him, but no, that's all she wrote. First half in the books. 8-4 TSM's your scoreline.
That's pretty rough there for Rise. Well played to TSM. I will say both of these teams, they are going to be better on defense for this map. So obviously TSM taking a slight advantage there, but I don't know. That scoreline, it's a little bit too askew, Parker.
I know. TSM took that timeout, and it seemed to make a world of difference, Michael, as they returned to that dominant form that we saw from them for the first couple rounds. But as much as we'd love to have more of this, we got a short break for you. So let's throw to that, and then we'll be back in just a couple minutes with more TSM versus Rise.
Burger? Pie? Try it and decide.
We could call it coupledom.
Ah, with duos. That kind of thing. Yeah.
I like it.
We could talk about working together. Oh, like collaborations and that.
The ups and downs. Shared hustles.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. Whoa.
You know, the power of partnerships. What do you think? Hello?
Synergy.
Good word.
So it's a conversation.
It's a podcast.
Yeah, so the Student Volunteer Army is an organisation set up after the 2010 earthquakes. I found it's really incredible experience getting to organise people, and it's pretty special that you can head to this office where there's these other like-minded people, right? We sit down, we engage our brains, and we're just like, so what could be done? What could we do? What's next? Within a couple of weeks, you know, we've got the volunteers. We're always looking at places where we can help out.
Money in the bank. Money in the bank.
All right, we are back. That first half was in the books. You can see on the top of your screen. If you don't have a visual reference point, it was 8-4 in favor of TSM. Rise Nation started on attack. This is TSM's map. A tactical timeout was taken by TSM, and since then they managed to overcome what was very quickly becoming a lopsided matchup for Rise when they started to win consecutive rounds back to back to back. But this time around, it's going to be TSM on attack, so let's see what they're capable of doing. They're going to go all in on A for the moment. Hayes is going to be all on his own watching mid, potentially for a push on in.
This is going to be definitely good control here by main for TSM. But they're actually going to back out of it. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and hit water. So slow rotate out of that commit. And they will leave Leviathan just in case they maybe want to... Oh, no. Okay, they're indecisive. They're not sure what they're doing here. They have managed to make Neptune rotate, though. As you can see, he's just coming through Defender spawn, heading up to B Heaven. So he's got that position in the bag now. Oh, here comes the Trailblazer from Zeroza, and he's going to get Superman, who actually overextended, which again prompts yet another rotate from Rise.
And very quickly, based off of that, TSM will try to take control from above. Shanks, one flash out. He gets a kill, but then it's immediately done for and traded right back. Poised, though, down below. He's the hero for this team, playing off of his cage. Turns around. Beautiful shot from Hayes. Poised down, Neptune down, and it's Derek in a 1v2. It was going well for Rise as they had the control of the B site. Derek now from above. Here's the high ground. Is it going to work? Nice shot, and he's going for two. He'll get them both. Derek cuts down Hayes and Sabroza. Things got dicey there for Rise, but they end up taking the very first pistol round of the second half.
Don't try it. And they did, but it didn't work out. Unfortunate for TSM. He needed to get that spike, obviously down, up above. Unfortunate that that's where it happened to drop. But, hey, that's the game. Well played to Derek, realizing the advantage that he had and just holding that spike to win out the first round of the second half. They really needed that. Rise not only get that money advantage, of course, moving forward, the credits will be higher, but also just a morale boost as they were down pretty bad out of the first half. I gotta say, though, TSM kind of played themselves. They way too quickly committed to that B push. They did have the fake on A and the rotate coming in from Rise, but because they were so quick to go into B Heaven, Rise realized it was a double fake out and they just rotated back, and it didn't even take him much time at all. Unfortunate for TSM, but obviously they can't have known that.
Leviathan and Neptune side by side. Leviathan has been so strong on this team in getting those opening picks. This time around, he'll be on the unfortunate receiving end of it. The part you don't want to be on. TSM's focus now in mid. Haze will creep up all on his own. He's in garage. B main, whichever you'd like to call it. Ice Wall's going to break, and Superman there. Spectre in hand, just narrowly misses out on Wardell. Blinded, but for a second, Wardell can't dash away quite fast enough. Rise are holding on to good control from above, and they're just wiping out TSM. Outmanned and outgunned. Sabrosa with 50 HP. Flashed very briefly. Takes out one, all right, but no. Rise just throws bodies at the problem, and hey, a viable strategy in this one. First pistol round, and then the follow-up. Both go to Rise in the second half.
Very well played there from Rise, but of course you expect that to be their round. Really not a lot to talk about for TSM. They tried